Hello. Okay, we got the mic working now because we had that off. Calibrating. We're welcome.
Hang on, I need to mute the stream.
We're not muting. We're live. We're good. We're fine.
No! I had the stream pulled up, so you started echoing.
Oh. Okay. Well, we're live now. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 3 of the podcast of Gundam Gunpla and Grunts.
We have no idea what was discussed last time.
You have no idea what was discussed? You didn't watch the last podcast? Is that what you're telling me?
I did not.
I've been busy.
That's all right.
I only managed to rewatch G-Witch last night and this morning.
It's all right. All right.
I still have a couple of minutes of episode 9 to rewatch.
It's okay. It's okay. You're fine. You're fine. Just,
this is not a safe space. This has never been a safe
space. The last 3 episodes, not too important. Well, actually, kind of they are, but that's besides the point. Today...
Depends.
Today, we will be discussing a few topics. The first topic is, I think it's kind of like a fan favorite. Everyone loves it. We're going to talk about P-bandai and Base Limited. P-bandai and Base Limited. Then we'll be talking about episode 7, 8, and 9 of Gundam From Mercury. We're going to go in depth, dissect it, get all the goodies out of it. And it's just amazing how there's a lot of things that you pick up on a second watch and you actually kind of, dive into the episodes. And last but not least, we have the infamous... We actually changed the hot wall to the cool wall. So it's a little bit different. And I think you'll be happy because we're going to re-rate the GM and the Zaku, and then we have our mysterious MS as well. So we'll be doing all 3. And I think some of you were a little bit upset about where the GM was rated last time on the old wall. So mistakes can be corrected, and that's fine.
I didn't see a mistake. Fine to me. Base Jam actually absolutely belong there.
Medic is gonna come out through the goddamn Discord and stab someone. He's got a hobby knife. Yeah. He's got a hobby knife.
I do. I've already stabbed myself.
I like a lot of their grunts, and Fellas is cool, like some cool grunt suits, but the GM themselves is.
It's a basic design.
Don't worry. We'll talk about it. We will talk about it. We will talk about it. Don't worry. Don't worry. All right. So let's first talk about one of our favorite topics. It's P-bandai. And I don't know if you guys knew this, but P-bandai started out back in 2003. 2003. It's been like, what, 20 years? Yeah. I don't even remember like it being that far back. And the actual first kind of like kit, well, not like kit, but the first release of P-bandai was actually a metallic plated weapon for the perfect grade RX-782. Do you guys even remember that?
No.
I was 1 year old at that time.
I was 5.
Logos was a baby.
I was 5. I was too busy obsessing over Transformers. I'd just been given a hot shot for my birthday.
I didn't even know what Gundam was.
Yeah. So it's actually been a long time since P-bandai has been actually starting to release stuff.
I will say one kind word in defense of P-bandai. Their stuff is easier to get your hands on than the B Club resin kits.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But B Club's like third party, right? Like,
I mean, the wiki lists them as official. I assume they were official.
Maybe they like just. Is it still going, the B Club stuff, or is it just?
As far as I know, no. But like, there's a lot of mobile suits that only exist as B Club upgrade kits. Like, you want a John Cannon? Sucks to suck. You want, up until a few years ago, you want a high grade scale assault Gundam? Sucks to suck.
Well, they're gonna redo that in P-bandai format, or Base Limited, so it's gonna make them even more money.
I mean, didn't we already get the Assault Buster a few years ago?
Yeah. The Assault Shroud, you mean?
No, the Victory 2.
Oh,
Assault
yeah, the
Buster.
Victory. Oh, the Victory. Yeah, we did.
What the hell's the Assault Shroud?
Oh, I'm thinking Seed.
I tried to watch Seed and I don't like Kira.
Oh, that's a topic for another day, but
Yeah, that's a whole ass topic right there.
yeah. But so P-bandai, do you guys even like have any P-bandai kits or?
I have 3 technically, 2 I've actually bought.
I've been looking into buying the into getting my hands on the standard colors Regan Laze.
Yep.
Why was that P-bandai?
Money.
So
It's literally money, nothing else.
I bought the I bought those stands, the which From Mercury, the ones that you can like take apart and put together,
Oh yeah.
whatever.
Wait, that
'Cause I
was
thought
P-bandai?
it was like yeah, that was P-bandai.
Oh
Because I
my
thought it
God.
would be like really cute. Because my girlfriend and me don't live in I live in Germany, she lives in America.
Yeah.
So I can take Mjorn and she can take Soletta, and then whenever we're together, we can like put them together beside our bed.
Aw, isn't that sweet?
Aw.
Aw.
Yeah,
That's
it was for Valentine's
cute.
Day too. It was for Valentine's Day too, so I feel
Oh
really
my
good
God.
about that. And
That was-
then
that was cute.
I really wanted that high mobility Zaku. It
Yeah.
sold out in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I got my notification that it was up. It was already gone. I was so mad.
You know, this reminds me back in the day. I used to try to collect those old Master of the Universe Classics figures. This sounds a lot like the shit that happened back then.
You mean with just stuff selling out right away, and there would be
You know,
no way
selling
to
out
get it?
right away. Occasionally, the website gets clogged until only scalpers have the entire run.
Yeah. The crazy thing with P-bandai before was like, I feel like before it was a lot of like mostly kits that were just kind of like recolors or like they were clear kits, and it wasn't really anything like brand new. But I feel like maybe in the last couple of years they've been really pushing out like brand new like designs or kits, and like obviously one of the good examples right now is like the Rose Gundam,
Like,
which
that
I
one
think we can
pisses me
all
off.
agree looks like super nice, looks really good.
Oh yeah,
looks really good,
it looks amazing. But like, what pisses me off is specifically the fact that it is entirely new tooling. Like, I could deal with it when what was it that one Seed grunt suit when it was just it's Tekkadan, but we've also recolored the legs of the grunt suits. Oh, it's okay. I'm a bit salty over the Jim's counterattack.
Okay, be salty. Be salty.
I
Like-
think. Go ahead. Sorry.
You shouldn't have exclusives on the scale of stuff like the Psycho Gym. Because on the aftermarket, now you're gonna drop like $1,000 to get that shit.
I think we're feeling a bit of emotional damage. That's what
So
I
what
feel.
I'm not
Feeling great.
excited for. What I'm not excited for is they announced that new master grade Camphor in black, and I really want it.
Yes.
And I know I'm not going to get it because it's going to be sold out 5 minutes after it hits, no matter how expensive it is.
5 minutes, 30 seconds, probably.
Oh, speaking of
I,
expensive Bandai stuff, the Dwaj.
The Dwatch.
So, like, I love the Dwaj.
Yeah.
Mostly because its parts have been insanely useful in a gamer streaming. But yeah, so I looked into it. The original kit back in 1986 had parts to make the custom and the original. P-bandai, you get one or the other, and they're both over $100.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
That's the other thing too, is like it's the pricing for the P-bandai kits. Like they market it as like, oh, it's innovative, it's limited. So we're gonna just jack up the price. But realistically, some of these kits, they're like exactly the same as their predecessors. Not all of them are like brand new and have new designs.
And then some of them will just reuse parts from old kits that aren't
Yes.
relevant anymore.
Yes.
Wait, I actually do have a P-bandai thing, just not Gundam.
What is it?
I have King Jader.
You have King Jader? Is that thing
I think-
massive?
It's scaled down because it's a super mini plaw, but yeah, no, the
Okay.
box is pretty damn big. But the thing is, because of how expensive it is and how hard it was to get the damn thing.
Yeah.
I'm scared to build it.
What do
They
you
don't
mean?
want to ruin the value.
I don't want to fuck up the model kit because I'm not going to be getting another one of these.
Oh, you want to hone your skills in first and then build it?
Yep.
It's actually
Fair
really
enough.
funny.
Well,
I bought
also
a-
Final Galgaigar. I'm pretty sure that was P-bandai too.
What, the real grade?
No, not the real grade. Final.
Oh.
Hang on, I can send you a picture. But it's massive.
Yeah. So
It's massive.
what were you
Very
saying,
specific.
Lucas?
I think the honing thing is really funny because me and my girlfriend talk a lot about like, oh, she doesn't want to build master grades
Yeah.
because she's like, oh, I don't think I'm good enough to build this. And I had built like 5 high grades, bought a master grade Seagull. I was like, all right, let's fucking do this and build it just straight in the middle of the evening.
Yeah.
And I remember one of us said, they were scared of cutting their fingers. I think I
Right.
cut my one finger 5 times while building the master grade.
Oh my
'cause
god.
It was like 1 a.m. I was almost done. I was like, oh, I just have to build one more leg.
You
And
just
I
gotta
was,
push
I was
through
sitting there. Oh shit, my hand is cut up.
Yeah. You
covered
just gotta. Were you
I
like
managed to-
bleeding all over the damn kit too, like blood everywhere?
No, I didn't do that, but
No.
it felt like it.
It's crazy because like one of the kits that I saw that was a P-bandai, and I'm like, how is this a P-bandai? Was the Blast Impulse Master Grade? How is that a P-bandai kit? Like, shouldn't it be just a regular release? Like we have, why is any of the impulses, like a standard kit? Why must the Blast Impulse be a P-bandai? It makes no sense, but I guess the money does.
Like P-bandai should mostly just be mobile suit variations.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
maybe because didn't you want somebody to say that they used to be just like kind of alternate colors or something?
Yeah. A lot of
Like,
the
we
early
still do
stuff
that.
was alternate colors and
Yeah.
like clear stuff, and wasn't
'cause
too
you're still-
crazy on that.
You're still going to sell to the hardcore builder fans. You're still going to sell
Yeah.
to them. But then by doing like what they did with the Rose, you lock out the community at large because you can't get your hands on those. Like a lot of the community would like that thing would print money for them if they did a wide release of it.
Yes.
Yeah, no, like I point to narrative again because like half the damn movie's mobile suits were P-bandai.
Yeah, I was actually just about to get that, but going back to just IC for 1 second, is like there's a lot of G Gundam fans, like a lot, So
I count
the
myself
original
among them.
Gundam kits, they suck.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
suck. And and like the entire Shuffle Alliance needs a fucking accessories kit that's impossible to track down. Like,
Yeah.
you want a Maxter that actually has its inner chest? You want a shining finger? You want Arthur to be able to hold his damn chain?
good luck.
Sucks to suck.
Yeah. It's. I feel it's not really fair to the fan base, especially nowadays. Because I think when you guys mentioned before, but there's what we call bots and scalpers that kind of just buy up a lot of
Another synonym.
the
Assholes.
assholes, yes, that kind of buy up the stock and then they resell it on eBay for what, double, triple, quadruple the price,
Yep.
sometimes even more.
Like this happened with Final Galgaigar before the pre-orders had even closed.
It's nuts. It's not fair to the fans and people who want accessibility to the kids. Like,
Honestly, any P-bandai Super Mini plot, like, hey, you want some Getter Robo kit? Well, that are like maybe 2 inches tall with gum. $300.
and the crazy thing is, like, the hardcore collectors will buy it, but why not
think they
make it
haven't thought of it.
mainstream? Why not make it available for everyone? But I did read a report though that since Bandai like introduced like the P-bandai and the Base Limited, like past couple of years, their profits have been like astronomical. They made a ton of money. So I think we're not going to be seeing this going away anytime soon. You know what I mean?
So what we're saying is the only solution is to overthrow the ruling class.
Yes. Yeah. That's the only solution. And going back to your comment, Medic, about the narrative kits and stuff, like it's actually insane that the narrative B pack, just the B pack, forget about the actual narrative Gundam, the B pack for P-bandai, $37.
Jesus Christ.
And there's no
$37 for what? I think it's like a runner or two, and it's like
a runner or two, and then you need to buy the A packs to get the narrative to actually go with it.
Yes.
Yep.
It's
But
nuts.
then you can't. Then you waste the APAC because the APAC itself should be on display, and then you waste it by building the B pack.
Yeah.
Because
That's
you have
the
to put the B pack.
I too.
Yeah.
Where did I put my standing sponge?
But hold on, you guys think that was bad? It's actually worse because the B pack is actually not P-bandai. It's even more limited. It's base. It's
Ugh.
base limited, which is
wasn't the version
even
of the
more.
base?
It's even more base limited. Basically, it's supposed to be more of a unique, more unique design push from Bandai, and more like differentiating from not going original suits, but more newer designs. However,
I know
when I
what
looked at it, when I looked at Base Limited, they had recolors, they had the extra finishes, they had all that stuff. So I just feel like it's another like kind of FOMO attempt, and it's working because Base Limited is making them a lot of money. And I can't believe it, right? They even, it's pushing more kits into original designs with even more limited quantities. So I don't know when it ends, guys.
Actually,
Okay,
I meant
but,
to
like,
ask this.
Yeah.
You posted a picture of those really fancy blue-white master grade Sasabis.
Yeah.
What is that? Like, I've not seen that anywhere. Are
It's
those
from
base limited, or-
it's I think it's a store exclusive from LA Model, I think. I haven't seen it anywhere else, so I'm wondering if it's a Chinese kit, I believe, or it's based on like a Chinese colors or something scheme, similar to what we saw with the Perfect Grade. Was it Unicorn, like the red version, red and green, I think? But I have not been able to find anywhere official, like on websites to sell, except for that. So I'm wondering if it's just kind of like an exclusive for that store. I'm not sure.
Wasn't the green unicorn also P-bandai? Or was that base?
The green one, the full battle version.
No, just green Psycho Frame in general.
I know they have a Banshee green Psycho Frame. That I'm pretty sure is a Gundam Base Limited.
Yeah. And then don't forget about the Perfect Grade Phoenix Gundam narrative version, which is a lottery. Like, what the hell? It's a damn you can only get it through lottery.
Like, I understand why they're doing it, but I hate them for it. Because, like, okay, so the history of lucky draws and shit like Transformers is the prize is like chromed or clear,
Yeah,
or some other shiny color. And like, I understand how you try to carry that over to the Fenix, but if you do try to carry that over to the Fenix, fuck you.
the problem is like you can get the normal Fenix, the Phoenix or whatever. However, it doesn't come with like the shield tails, and it's actually a different color. It's gold, but it's like kind of like a mud gold, not the accurate show. So if you want the accurate show colors and you want the tails and stuff, you need to get the narrative version, which was only a lottery. And if you want to buy it now, it's like what, $1,400 plus.
Yikes.
Something, if you can find it. If you can find it.
This doesn't seem right.
If you can find it. Well, $1,400 Canadian, which is like, I don't know, like $800,000, $1,000 plus US, which is nuts.
So, I actually have something to say.
Tell us.
I think I would be a lot more okay with P-bandai if they introduced made to order, which is something that, Games Workshop, another company that everybody basically hates, did after the outrage that they would make box sets that were very lucrative for whoever was buying it.
Yeah.
And then they would be like, okay, we made like 1,000 of these, even though basically every single person that's a Games Workshop fans wanted it. So I personally would be okay with P-bandai being a thing if they were like, okay, I don't know, let's say the high grade, high mobility Zaku that I couldn't get. Instead of being like, okay, we make like 3,000 of these, they sell out and it's forever gone.
Yeah.
We say you can pre-order this from March 1st to April 1st,
Okay.
and as every order will be made, but basically once all the orders are made and shipped, we are never making this again because they
like
have to
that.
set up all the parts for that anyway,
Oh wow.
right? So just going like, okay, maybe only 500 people want this, we only make 500, no bad,
I like
because they don't
that.
make a loss.
So,
But if like 10,000 people want the kit, they make 10,000 of the kit,
I
make a
like
shit
that.
ton of
I
money.
like that.
I'm looking at a narrative version of the Fenix for $25. I don't know what the hell you're on about, Aya.
The perfect grade.
Oh, the perfect. Okay, so I tend to think in high grade terms just because that is the most variety.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry, I thought I mentioned it. I'm talking about the perfect grade.
Oh, yeah, I don't care as much about grade.
So that's actually I would prefer if they did that. You know, kind of if you want it, they just make it and they just have it up for a limited amount of time, and then they get all the numbers and they just make that many. Like that would be nice. The other big issue with Base Limited and P-bandai is it doesn't ship everywhere. Like it ships mostly to the US and a couple other countries, but like a lot of other places, they are forced to go, second, third party, and they're going to be paying the price for it, which is absolutely insane.
Using stuff. It's absolutely insane because like it's already P-bandai. You're already letting them bend you over and rifle through your wallet.
Yeah, that's a nice way of saying. Yeah, and it's not fair, and people are kind of screwed because we can't order it.
Didn't Bandai do like a huge attack on other outside retailers like a year or two ago too, to make it even harder to get anything from other than them?
So like, something I can say about that is I know that like Mecha Warehouse, which are a huge seller in America, they are having problems with their Japanese contact because they just won't talk to them and ship them anything anymore.
I actually saw something similar, like where I saw on Facebook and some Twitter and stuff that there was a bunch of stores that actually got a notice saying that they're no longer going to be receiving like Gundam kits. It's done. They were cut off by Bandai. And I'm like, what is going on here?
So one theory I have is that this is because Bandai is going to open a bunch of like Bandai exclusive stores across America, because I know when I went to Florida, we talked to the Hobby Lobby people there, and they were like, "Oh, we probably won't be getting the Witch from Mercury kits because Bandai is opening like a proper Gundam store somewhere in the area." It wasn't Florida. I think it was. I don't know where it was. It was like up one state. I'm not really super good on my U.S. geometry. Yeah. So that store won't be getting any Witch from Mercury kits because they want them for that Bandai, proper Bandai store, so they can sell them there.
Wow.
However, then 2 weeks later, we did find Witch from Mercury kits at a hobby town.
Yeah.
So I couldn't say how accurate that information is anymore.
Was it overpriced when you found it?
No, they had 3 Ariels and we bought 2 of them, and I almost went back in because it was like $15. I was like, on the way back, I was like, we should have just picked up that third one because it was so cheap.
Wow. I wonder if this is kind of like the slow expansion of Bandai, and getting rid of like the smaller hobby shops and then just putting in those big Gunpla shops or something like that. And I just kind of feel bad for the hobby stores because a lot of people, like, they go in and it's more of a welcoming and like homing kind of like place, right? Because people love going into hobby stores, and like you take away their Gunpla, it's like
I go to
kits. Come on, man.
I go to he's a Gundam store. He's a self-employed, runs his own business, runs out of like the flea market basically, because there's like stalls there that are like permanent stalls. He runs an entire Gunpla business out of this thing. He's just a one-man store. He's got a couple employees that he gets in every like on the weekends only. Yeah. Dude he's doing the business entirely on his own. And
Yeah.
I'm like super good friends with this guy. That would take that away. And honestly, that's part of the experience. I bought kits like based on my interactions with him.
Wow.
Yeah. That's kind of also
Yeah,
for me, it's kind of bad because, like my long-term dream, because I'm currently building my own business with 3D printing and making minis, having like a proper game store where I can sell those minis and then, have like a games workshop and a Gundam and a Battletech corner would be the dream. And thinking that I can't sell Gunpla next to everything else would suck because I just love it so much and I want to be able
Yeah.
to, talk to people who come in and be like, you don't really know what this is. Pick up a Zaku, test it out.
Yeah, and I bet you a lot of like hobby stores too is, they would tell you that people would buy more kits as they feel more comfortable like in the store and like get to know people and talk about kits and like be passionate about that stuff. I feel that would make me more eager to buy a kit. You know what I mean? And the atmosphere and like the community, right?
Customers are a lot more likely to buy something when you are into actually like interact with them and talk to them about it.
Yeah.
Than just going in and looking around. If they see a Gundam kit and they're like, "Oh, this is $20, isn't worth it."
Yeah.
They're like, "Okay, I don't care about this."
This is something I was actually talking about with my roommate earlier when we were discussing video rental stores.
Oh, yes.
And like how fucking Game Crazy was always a lot more welcoming and just fun to look around in relative to GameStop nowadays.
Yeah, like it's just I feel like when you open these big Gundam stores, it's just you're gonna walk in and it's just gonna be other people mindlessly shopping for Gunpla, and I feel like it's gonna be like more of like a professional setting. Maybe like some of the stores I've seen in Japan, and it's literally just you grab a cart and you start putting Gunpla in it. There's no like tables to sit down and chat. It's just very like
it's a fucking Lego store at that point. And like I have nothing against the Lego store, but like you don't make friends with Lego store employees.
It's exactly like that. So I just feel that's
no offense, Lego store employees.
I hope it's not going to turn into that, and I hope the hobby shops around don't go to business because I think hobby shops are amazing.
I don't think they would because like Gunpla is just like one aisle. Like they have their RC cars, they have the miniatures, they have all the other model kits. They have Kotobukiya.
But anything Bandai related, right? I mean, that's a potential of them just not getting it anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, it's actually really interesting, I think, because in the hobby towns that I've gone into, most of the things they sell is actually Gunpla. Like the one the one. Go ahead.
The most recent one I got into just had like a massive shelf filled with Gunpla on the back, but like that's the thing, it was filled. There were kits haphazardly stacked on top of each other.
That's actually interesting because I've been to 4 at this point, and the smaller one that seemed less welcoming. The light was very dark. Like, and the guys there were very rude to me and my girlfriend while we were like, we're buying Gunpla. What do you guys have? They almost had nothing, and they just generally were really poorly stocked. And then the other ones, one of them was very generalist, like they had just a shit ton of everything, but they were in the middle of Tallahassee, so it's a huge store.
Yeah.
And the other smaller one, the far more welcoming, well lit, the guy at the counter was very nice to us. They had a shit ton of well organized Gunpla, and I could tell stuff was selling because I came in the one day and we bought a bunch of stuff. I was like, okay, maybe I'm going to get this 8th MS kit, but I didn't end up getting it. And then 2 days later, we actually came back and checked it out, and they didn't have it anymore. So people were actually buying stuff at that store more than just one person coming in, picking up one kit, and then leaving, and then nobody else coming in the week. Like they were actually going through their stock and getting new stuff all the time.
That's wild. But I just wanted to show people, like, let's see if I can put it up here. Let's see. Let me put it up. So right here, you can still see, this is the Gundam Rose. It goes for $35 US, and I can't remember how fast it sold out, but I think it sold out pretty fast, right?
Yes, definitely.
So I think it's, again, that's, it's got the nice rose bits. It's got like effect parts.
And like as I mentioned, the old kits, one, their articulation is crap, their build is needling, and that accessory kit I mentioned, it was the one that was where you got rose bits from. Yeah.
So it's actually insane that they would do this. And again, like, we have the Master Grade Blast Impulse. That's a P-bandai kit. I don't even know why. Why is this not just a regular release? It makes no sense. Like,
what just offends me about the Rose Gundam is, because I'm used to Transformers, where every exclusive, at the very least, is based. Well, it's just modified from an existing mold. Even if it's modified in a highly desirable way, they're not committing resources into
making that thing.
Yeah, but this, do you know how fucking expensive steel tool molds are?
I can only imagine.
We're expensive.
What the hell?
Yeah. And right here, I have the base limited narrative Gundam B pack. It's literally a couple pieces, and that's about it.
My understanding was that's the P-bandai version. The base version actually did have a narrative Gundam in it.
Oh, it did? Okay, so then, this one says base limited, so I'm not sure. But yeah, it's nuts. It's nuts. It's not gonna. I feel like it's not gonna stop, and it's just gonna get worse.
Yep.
And we're gonna see that. I think they're gonna release another limited line. Who the hell knows? I wouldn't put it past them.
I mean, they're already the death site is already up, and people are really worried that that entire line of kits is going to be all P-bandai.
Wait.
Is it the? Oh no! Is it high grade?
The high grade Gundam Death Side. $30 right there.
It's like, I don't have issue with the Heavy Arms custom or the Sandrock custom, whatever. They were barely modified in the show. I understand it and making those P-bandai, but the fucking Death Scythe.
Yeah, like basically the second upgrade for the Gundams in the actual show are P-bandai. Get out of here.
Well, here's the thing too is sorry for the AK by the way. Here's the thing too is if you guys build the Live Lance Heaven from the Build Divers games, it has a runner for the Death Scythe Hell. That's what you use. So it's not like they can't do it. It's like they already basically gave you the pieces for the Death Scythe Hell because the thing even has the freaking Death Scythe Hell's helmet.
It's money.
Hey, how they made a Kapul and then never actually made a proper Kapul out of it.
It just makes me so damn mad.
I'm just convinced they hate the second season.
Give me my Wodom.
Yeah, they just hate the second. They just hate the second season. That's why, like, because then they do a real grade Tall Geese 2. That's P-bandai only.
Yeah, and 3 as well. They made Tall Geese 2 and 3 both P-bandai.
They just hate everything funny thing, after that.
Much like the Walleye, the original Tall Geese 3 kit had parts for the first two.
Yeah. Yep, I remember that because I had that kit.
I'm annoyed because I'm like, so that we're talking about things that, Bandai hates. Where's the next Thunderbolt movie?
Oh, okay. That's okay. We'll talk about that another time. But yes,
I will say I think there's a valid reason for that, and I will give them a pass on the next Thunderbolt stuff.
It gets crazy. It gets crazy, but come on, give it to me.
But they're giving us another Seed movie. But anyways,
they are.
So yes,
development for the better part of a decade.
Yeah, they're giving us another Seed movie. Kira Yamato fans are excited and happy, but But enough of this depressing talk. Let's get into the actual episodes of.
That's also depressing. I don't know what
Gundam
you're talking about.
From Mercury.
What are you talking about? Elon died last on the last set. And it's nothing
not
but smooth
it's
sailing.
like depressing episodes. These are the fun ones.
So the last kind of discussion that was with the other group was that we all were convinced, or at least I attempted to convince everyone that Elan, it was Elan 5?
It was Elan 4.
Elan 4 was a clone. And I got their take from it. I want to know what you guys think before we go into the episodes. Is Elan 5 a clone?
He has memories of a birthday. I'm near positive he's just a random hobo.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm kind of in that camp. He's a modified human.
Yeah, he's a modified human, and I also think that those 4 women are also modified humans.
Call them the Grandma Gang because we're not going to remember their names.
The Inquisition gang.
I think the Grandma Gang, as well as all the aliens except the, are probably all modified humans. We have no idea how they do it.
Yeah.
Neither do we have any idea how they do whatever they did to Elan at the end.
Yeah.
Like the weird, we're gonna snap you out of existence kind of thing.
Yeah, why would they do that if he's just a modified human? You know what I mean? I don't understand if he's a clone.
Well, I haven't. I think I know why they do it. The question is that's a spoiler or not, because
Okay.
it's kind of extrapolated from like all across the series.
Okay.
I mean,
'Cause-
why they do it seems pretty obvious. To try and get someone who can handle the Gund format. And where
No. In terms of why they incinerated him, because if there's people mention a face swap or whatever, and there was some debate on if that was just kind of like a translation or a figure of speech, and there was a part where they talked about giving him a new ID number after he was done, and I'm like, this makes no sense if he's a clone, because if he was a random hobo, they just swap his face back and give him his old ID number back and let him live. But instead, they just
anyway.
fucking vaporized them.
So clear that by the end of the road, by the end of it, his mind was fucking fried by the gun system.
I actually have a counter why they do it. 1, you don't want somebody running around that knows all your secrets. 2, I have the weird feeling that whatever they did to him actually uploaded all his like pilot knowledge into the Fracht itself.
The Fracht.
Instead of actually killing him. Like, I have this weird feeling that the reason they do it is to put, basically his pilot knowledge, because he's a good pilot, right? Yeah. Into the Gundam so that the next pilot can be even better, because if you just took random people, put your face on them, and then said, okay, go sit in this Gundam, they wouldn't be good pilots. They would be absolute garbage.
That is true, because yes, these are body doubles, but they're body doubles that seem to pretty consistently be good pilots.
Yeah. But we don't know if the OG Elan is a good pilot.
We have no idea. Yeah, we don't know.
I'm still convinced. I'm still convinced he's a clone. These are all clones.
As far as number 4, for me, I see why they would just dispose of him. It's because as it was said, he's got company secrets. B, they don't view him as a person. The way they act to him, he's not a person. He's property to them.
Yeah,
they can do what they want with their property. He's a test subject. When a test subject fails, you get rid of it. They're being very the same way if you fail making a cake, you throw it out, you don't eat it, kind of thing.
But like you guys mentioned, if it's the thing where they're good pilots, there's no way they're gonna get a random hobo. A random hobo. You know what I mean? If they want like creme de la creme pilots, they're gonna look for people who are, good, like great, and they gotta be known.
So I have an idea on that. I feel so. We've kind of established previously, kind of like the dichotomy of like Spatians versus Earthians, and then my theory is they bought a human. That they bought a kid. It's child soldiers are not an uncommon thing for Gundam. I just think that they bought a kid.
Yeah, something in that direction.
Trained them the way they want,
or to just grab him off the street.
The poster for We Bought a Zoo, but it's We Bought a Kid.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They went they found some destitute family on Earth that literally, because you can get away with just about anything there, I guess is the vibe. And they paid these people so maybe they can move up to space possibly. And these people were so desperate to get off, they agreed to it. They sold their little 4-year-old kid. Then Pale raises him and molds him into the pilot they want him to be. And then physically molds him into the pilot they want him to be.
Good theories. Good theories. I
He
dismiss
also
all of
needs
them.
to be a certain body height and
Yeah.
so on to be able to actually pose as a body double. Because if he was like 2 meters tall, and then suddenly Ellen shows up at school, is 2 meters tall, and everybody like, what happened to you?
Yeah, they gotta be kind of like exact body type. So I still think it's like a test tube baby or something like that clone. I don't know, but
I think we'll know in the second core.
I think we'll kind of get to know more about that. Yeah, but it's always good and fun to throw out ideas, even if you guys are wrong. But anyways, episode 7.
Why'd you even debate if we're just going to call us if you're just going to call us wrong?
Look, it's okay to have opinions. It's fine.
Yeah, no, like your opinion on the gym.
Okay. Don't worry. There's time to fix that. Don't worry. Episode 7. So we get into the episode, and it's basically kind of like the Peel group, the ladies. They're talking to the head of the Bennett group, who's basically calling them out, right? Basically calling them out and saying, "Yo, the Ferric is a Gundam," you know.
Like,
yep.
No, he's not the head of the Bennett group. That's Delling. He's the old
Zanelli, Gasly, right?
Grassley, yeah.
Grassley, yeah.
And like they offhandedly mentioned, they offhandedly mentioned that he's broken in the agreement as well in the past, and like we don't know what the fuck's up with that.
Yeah, and it's weird because like he knows that it's obviously Ferris a Gundam and offers kind of both companies to work together for a plan, and the plan is to find out what Delling's up to, and I never really understood kind of like what they meant, because I didn't know Delling had some sort of ulterior master plan. Like I thought that was, done and completed back in the prologue, like to get rid of the Gundams. So
I don't know. We'll see more of that. Well, we won't. You and the other group will.
Yeah.
I think that's something. If we did I think what would be very good would be make a video or make an episode with both groups where we talk about retrospective on the entire first core.
Yeah.
That's something we should talk about then, because right now that's like, oh, here's a foreshadowing for what's going to happen next.
Yeah,
but we can't talk about it.
Yeah. Fair enough. We'll do that. We'll do that. Kind of after that, like Soletta and Mjorne, like they're working in their little greenhouse, discussing Elan, because in the last episode, like he hasn't been around, and they get invited to the incubation party, which I find a very strange name for a party. Incubation. Like, what do you guys think of that? Like when you heard that?
There's clearly okay, so this is about fostering new startups, new ideas.
Yeah. Yes.
I just think it might just be a poor choice of wording relative to the English speaking crowd.
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys agree with that?
On the other hand, the English in this show has been pretty damn spot on.
Oh, yes, it has. Yeah.
I can't watch the dub, the voice for Soletta and for Mjorne. Just it's impossible. I can't watch it.
Yeah, I hate the voice.
Because I know there was a big point. I know there was at least some point of contention somewhere here about the Soletta stutter, and the English dub got rid of that. Is that a market improvement, at least for?
I hate it. I hate it so much better with the stutter.
I
actually, the voice, it just kills me, man. It just like
it's too deep.
It's so far gone for me. I don't know. Is it worse than the stutter? I don't know. The stutter's pretty bad.
I think I saw a good point where Mio's English VA sounds like she'd be better for Prospera.
Yes,
and I thought that was
the problem is. The problem is, I think that the English VA for Mjorne is the same person that did what's the assassin lady from from
Yor.
Spy Family? Yeah, and she's basically using the exact same voice she used for Yor. If she just had changed her voice a little bit for.
This is my take on it. I feel like.
Oh, I get that. I could not enjoy Gridman's dub because Auntie uses the same fucking voice as Bakugo.
I feel like it's not a bad choice because it shows how much more mature Mjorne is. And I don't think it's a bad choice. It's like over everybody else. It kind of like, and we see that throughout the episode. Like she's more like mature, smart. She kind of messes up the Earth escape, but I feel like she's just grown up a bit more than the rest of the people.
I think that's not a good justification for a different voice because she's
that's not a good justification for saying like she's 30.
She's basically a child, well, a young adult.
Well, she's like...
She is 16.
Isn't it like 16, 17?
Yeah, she's 16, 17.
No, she's
maybe. I don't know.
But she hasn't turned 17 yet. Like, she'd get married if she was 17.
She gets married at 17, yeah.
I think for me, with the dub, the only issue I have, and it's not a big one, it's just funny, is when I hear Choo Choo, I can only think of that time I got reincarnated as a slime. It's the same VA as the main character, and I love that show, so all I see is Rimuru whenever she talks.
I don't know.
That's the only thing I have with the English.
I think Guel was spot on.
Yes, Guel's is perfect.
Ghoul's fine. Ghoul's great.
So
yeah, I'll agree with that one.
We're done pretending that only the first 3 episodes exist. We can like Ghoul now.
Yeah. Anyways, moving on to the episode. Soletta wants to go to the incubation party because Elan's probably going to be there because like the major houses representatives will be there. We switch quickly to the party entrance and we see, which I actually thought was pretty cool, the Yoasabi, the demi trainer there.
Speaking of expensive, overpriced exclusives.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Which is basically for people.
$100 demi trainer.
Yeah, for people who don't know, it's basically the J-pop duo singers who did the opening song for the series, and they kind of had their own special coloring of the demi trainer, which I also think came out with also the Ariel as well, and it had slightly modified colors. Is that right, guys?
No, it didn't come with the Ariel. It came with a set of stickers to put on the Ariel. Oh,
okay. So oh, really? I thought it actually came with the Ariel as well. Oh, damn. Okay, so it's just stickers. What the hell? Because but from what I saw, like it showed the Ariel on the box too, and I'm like, oh, it comes with the Ariel too. Not bad. But if it's just stickers,
What it did include, however, was an audio version of the prequel side story.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And specifically because the introductory theme was written based on that side story.
Oh, well, I had no idea. That's actually really interesting. I'll have to listen to that. Well, I mean, if it's in Japanese, right?
I mean, it's Yosobe. They put out an English version.
Oh, I know of the opening. Yeah. But I didn't know if they did it with the side story.
Oh, it's just an audiobook.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. That's cool. I mean, I thought that it's like the coloring scheme was kind of cool, but it really stands out. It really stands out in this scene for the demi trainer.
Yeah. But that means that whoever they get to narrate it is the voice of the Ariel.
Hell yeah, let's go.
Oh, yo, let's go. That means Ariel. Well, anyways, what do you guys think of the dresses? Whose do you like more between Soletta and Miorne? Miorne has like that blue dress, and Soletta has that red dress, right?
I like them both.
Soletta hands down for IC.
I can't choose. However, it also made clear one very, very important lore fact. Canonically, yes. Mio has a smaller bust than Soletta.
This is true. It is canon now. It's official. The bigger booba goes to Soletta.
Let's go.
Yeah. So wait. Locus Medic. Which dress do you like more? Who wore it best?
I prefer I think that Soletta's as somebody who wears dresses and things like that. Soletta's dress is a lot more casual, I would say, while Mjorn's dress is a lot more show off. With the ribbons and stuff like that?
I would actually say the other way around, just because like Soletta has her hair done up with ornamentation, whereas Mio is just pretty much wearing it. Like it's not as fancy a hairdo.
No, the hairdo is not the same thing as the dress.
I think they both come together.
So for me, Soletta's dress has it's more multifaceted. Like I could see that as a dress you'd wear to a casual event or a more formal event. Mio's
Yes.
dress is straight up a formal event.
I could
I
see
think that's
somebody
fine.
going to like just a general party in Soleda's dress, while Mjorn's dress is definitely more like, okay, I'm going to this hangout with a bunch of business people.
Yeah.
I am here
Which
to
makes
be the
sense
daughter
because
of
we
the
know
most
that
powerful man
Soleda,
in the universe.
yeah, and which makes sense because we know that Soleda borrowed Mjorn's dress. So what's likely happening is that Mjorne was wearing her, her proper going out to this sort of event dress, and she doesn't have a second one because she always wears that one anyway. So she's like, okay, Soleda, just take this other dress I have that's not for this occasion, but it'll look fine.
It's dangerous to go casual. Take this.
Take this, yeah. So we actually get to the incubation party, which is basically we find out it's for new business startups within the corporations it's basically a giant Kickstarter, right? They announce new plans and they try and solicit investments basically. And we get a glimpse of Mjorne's kind of really business smart aspect of her when there's like a company that kind of got put forward and they're going through their plans to try and get kind of the investment funds for the company, and she looked at it quickly and she's like, yeah, no, it's too old fashioned, they're behind, they won't get it. And what do you know, the business doesn't reach the goal and it's not kind of pushed forward. So it just kind of shows like, which we don't really see a lot of, is like her, because she's in that business technology kind of aspect of the school.
Yeah.
And we haven't really seen like her utilize it too much, I feel, in the show till now.
She's been in school this entire time. When the hell was she going to leverage business knowledge?
No, but I mean like some sort of business management or management of a company, right? Which is now actually, we're going to start to see a lot more of, but
like, admittedly, we've only seen like all of 2 classes this entire goddamn series.
I think
True.
it's actually really funny how they focused it on like the school and stuff, and then that's basically it doesn't matter in the grand scheme of the show.
The like all the important stuff,
it's a cover.
All the really important shit outside of Ghoul getting his ass kicked, that's taking place whenever they leave the school.
Yep.
It's like the school is kind of like the safe place. Well,
Yeah, no, it's the safe place. Like that, and every time they leave it, shit goes down.
Yeah. So next we kind of see the search for Elan, and the real Elan is mad because he has to actually
Elan, please stand up.
the real Elan, please stand up. Has to make an actual real appearance because his clone isn't. I mean, his doppelganger or whatever you guys want to say is not ready, and so he's got to make an actual appearance. He's kind of mad about that. We see as Soleda and Mjorne walk through the crowd, we hear something interesting. I find is that people start gossiping or whispering about how, oh, that's the witch. And I feel like the information is so important that even like all the top business, I feel like it's top business prospects that are there and really big investors. So they actually know what's going on. It's not like a big secret, like within the school, it's like, what's a witch, right? Like, or whatever. But within like the actual adult community, it's like, she's a witch. Which I kind of find interesting. Everybody knows, yeah.
Like they know they're the heads of companies. They know, they understand what witches are and why they can't have them.
And who they are.
And they were all there when Prospero rolled up episode 2 and basically he forced Delling to let the Ariel stay.
Yeah, but Ariel at that time is not a Gundam. It's not a Gundam.
And there's probably a good amount that remember the original takeover where
they're old enough to remember.
Well, yeah. I mean, it did happen. What, 21 years ago?
21 years ago, which is another matter. This was first mentioned in a previous episode, but here it's 100% confirmed that the incident referred to 21 years ago.
Yep. We're getting to that. Yep. We'll get into that. The next part is I thought Shaddiq looks really spiffy. With his hair tied up, he's looking suave. And it's funny because
he's a shady dick.
He is a shady dick, but I know he, he's coming up very suave. There's definitely something sus about him. And also, Mjolnir runs into Elan. And the way Elan acts, obviously, we know it's a different person, right? But he acts like so completely different from the Elan.
Warmly.
Sorry?
He acts warmly.
Yeah, he acts warmly, and his posture's different. His eyes are.
And he's full of shit.
Yeah, he's full of shit. But do you guys think it's weird that Soletta doesn't pick up on it at all?
No, I don't think it's weird.
Because
For Soletta, no.
It's not weird because this is Elan. Who else could it possibly fucking be?
Exactly. She takes everything.
It's not like there's there's no goddamn way. Think,
but it doesn't even question.
Different. What do you assume that they've decided that they're just your friend starts acting distant? Do you just assume that? Well, do you assume something is a bit weird, or are you just happy to see them?
I would.
Or do you assume that there's a conspiracy, using a series of body doubles?
Well, no, my tinfoil hat doesn't come on. But if I'm noticing my friend, who's like normally stoic, calm, one facial expression, and all of a sudden, my friend's like acting completely different. I'm like, hey, you're a lot brighter than usual. What's up? I feel like I'd pick up on that. Where Soletta, like you guys have said,
okay if I saw.
Anytime I see remind you,
are you on drugs, Elan? What's going on?
I'm gonna make a point that
sure.
While us people who are more used to social contact, being around people, can make this assumption from what we know about Soletta, because we have discussed that kind of tie-in novel from between.
She was
she's brain dead when it comes to social cues.
She basically has no idea how those social cues work. She's kind of figuring out. I'd say she's learning relatively quickly because she's basically somebody from a social cue level, somebody who just got into grade school, basically.
She's talking to people for the first time.
Yeah, so I don't think it is weird that she doesn't pick up on it. And the fact that nobody else actually ever interacts with Ellen means that nobody else could be like, he's acting kind of weird. Because she basically avoid what it feels like to me, he avoids everybody else.
Yes.
To talk to her, and so that nobody could be like, okay, why is he acting weird?
Yeah. Agreed. Very good observations. The next kind of interesting thing is that when we meet the gang, Mjolnir and Soletta meet Prospera.
Gang.
Prospera, and Prospera's like, look, Soletta, give me a glass of water, would you?
Actually, before that, one thing I want to note, because it actually shoots down a theory of mine. Prospera out and out refers to Soletta as her daughter.
Yes.
No potential word trickery, no potential for reveal later of I was talking about the Ariel.
Yeah.
No,
she refers to her. Well, it refers to both Ariel and her as the daughters, right?
Well, no, here she simply says, "I'm Suletta's mother."
I think it's very it's very clear that Soletta is Prospera's, daughter. The real question is, how old? Yeah, how did this child come to be?
Yeah.
Is it Eri? Is it not Eri? What is going on?
Yeah.
Because I also want to point something really interesting out that I noticed. I don't know if it wasn't, because we basically get to see the new intro for the first time.
Yeah.
In this, Eri is shown for a brief second in the same frame as Ariel. They're kind of overlaid over one top of one another.
Kind of like the Force, right?
Yeah, I don't feel like that's, just, this looked good. I think, because it's very often in Gundam shows that the intros are kind of foreshadowing, or they're supposed to give you information you can't have to make more sense of things.
Yeah. I hear you.
Well, a lot of shows fuck it up, but it's always good. Most Gundam shows do it very well.
And the thing I like about this is that Prospera gets all serious with Mjolnir when Soletta goes away and squeezes her hand and is asking. It's kind of like a privacy thing where if you go back in the let's say we're talking back medieval or whatever, right? She's basically saying she asked, has it always been this way with your father? Basically asking, like, are you aligned with your father? Is your allegiance to your father, right? Basically, like, where do you stand with the king kind of thing, right? So she's kind of gauging where she's at, because I think Prospera has use for.
Oh, Prospera has definitely use for her. Like, we see that later in this very episode, but no, she just flat out. She lays the seeds in Mirin's mind of just, hey, everything you have, all of your current lifestyle, any success you have,
you rely on your dad.
Money your father provided. You need to swallow your pride.
Yeah. Yes. So basically, a little bit of manipulation, right?
You rely on him.
Yeah. Yeah. So I thought that was again showing how very intelligent Prospera is, and she's playing 3-dimensional chess right now. And the next,
she's the kind of person who I imagine would play chess with Trace.
Yes. While Trace is having a bubble bath.
Trace is having a bubble bath, skeet shooting.
Yeah. The next scene I like is basically Prospera, which is one of you guys were getting to. Is Prospera says the man responsible for suppressing the Vandus incident 21 years ago, most of all the hero who banned Gundams, again referring to Delling, also referring to the incident 21 years ago, Vandus incident, aka the prologue.
The Labs massacre.
And Soletta's only 17, Nani, right?
Yep. So, as I've said several times in episode 1, Eva theory.
Eva theory. I suspect she's a clone. Yeah. That's why I kind of believe all the Elans before original Elan are clones too, and not the hobo switch. But so the Vandus incident is the prologue. It has to be right. Like, there's nothing else. Right?
Well, I think because I think this got confirmed when they did like some character info things on the Gundam info site.
Yeah.
But before that, I can't remember exactly what it was, but somebody had kind of posted a thing online that it let this not necessarily be that, but it wasn't saying it wasn't. This wasn't like out and out confirmation that the prologue is the Vandus incident. There wasn't, at the time, there wasn't like out and out confirmation. Yeah. And then when this Gundam info like character page thingy came out, at that point it was it definitely was.
Yeah. So it's kind of crazy. The timelines are not adding up, or everything's kind of being very convoluted.
It's just heavily pointing out that, Suletta she almost certainly isn't Airy unless Prosper threw her in cryogenic suspension for
basically till the Ariel was done,
Yeah, no, for I think that would have been 4 years.
Yeah, it would have been 4 years.
And even then it wouldn't line up because Airy was definitely older than 0 years old.
Yeah, it's just very weird.
Well, there's also the possibility of artificial aging too.
True.
I'm sure we will or we won't find out in the future.
Yeah.
Just a reminder, Suletta refers to all the bits as individuals.
Yes,
yeah,
and I think
she says everyone, right?
Yeah,
we see that again later on in the episodes.
Good chance Suletta's not the first clone.
Nope. And I think like the best proof we got was actually in the episodes where involving her fight with number 4 when we get the little cell. And I didn't catch. I don't know if I caught that part of the episode, but I'm sure you guys mentioned it where she got the little silhouette of the kids when he connects with her.
Yeah. And they're all doing that crazy ring around the rosy, laughing, and then they just kind of like wreck Ferrac,
I think those are just other failed Aries.
That does seem to be, and you could argue, we still don't know what the fuck was going on there, especially because, as far as I remember, the Ariel was fucking stun locked at the time.
Yes. Then plot armor kind of hit, right? And it was
I actually think that the that what's interesting with the Ariel is that instead of Soletta, who obviously it doesn't seem conscious of a very important fact about it, is that the gun, basically like the permit score that
Yep.
the others use, it seems to be almost a passive transition between levels in the Ariel without the pilot needing to basically go
Permit score 2.
permit score
3.
2.
Yeah.
It just happens when it's
Yeah.
required.
We'll see.
Well,
We can discuss that later on episode
Yeah.
9.
Yeah,
I
we're
think
gonna address that in episode 9.
Yeah,
But yes, you're right.
I think I have a thought going with that. With like something that'll come up later in our talk here.
Yeah,
I think I have a theory about that.
With the next thing is we see is Lauda Neil, who's Ghoul's brother with a different last name. He gets called by Vim, like his dad, to do something, which obviously shady stuff brewing, sabotage or espionage or whatever. There's always something behind the scenes going on. And I find like everyone's kind of trying to backstab everyone, or, no one really trusts everyone, which I find, again, is just very common nowadays in corporations and what stuff like that.
I also think it's really interesting that, like, kind of the fact that there's shady stuff going on in the background at this event kind of already got foreshadowed by the fact that people had a business meeting.
Yep.
Which I actually wanted to point this out. The actual Ellen was not there at that business meeting. So nobody actually knows in what kind of relationship the actual Ellen stands to Pale Industries.
Right.
And my theory actually is he owns the whole thing.
Like you're talking about who actually is Elan? Like who actually
like
is
who actually is he?
Right.
Because why would he not, he basically has to have something better to do to be like, okay, I'm going to spend probably a shit ton of money making these body doubles. So he's either like the owner of the company or somebody's son at the company.
Yeah.
And I suspect he's a huge snob who's like, okay, I can't be bothered to work. I'm going to just sit at this pool.
Yeah, we get that, because I remember he complains like, I don't want to go to school. Like why do you think I have my doppelgangers? Is like I don't want to go to school, right?
I have not people. Experiments for that.
I have a tool to take care of this thing for me. I don't want to do it.
Yeah. And we get our first
unwashed.
Yeah, at the party we get our first sus moment between Shaddiq and Nika.
And Mjorne. Oh, Mika, yeah.
Yeah, with Nika. And I thought that was I was like, what's going on? Which we'll get to later, obviously.
Yeah,
but
first time around. Second time I was wondering, is this the first time this was foreshadowed? Was it foreshadowed a few times in the previous episodes? I don't remember.
No, I don't think it was like us. I actually, that's a good question.
I felt there was one more moment where something was sus about
like a clear moment, right? Like a more clear moment.
Not very clear. It's like if you read kind of between the lines of things. But wasn't there that one time where they like met up in the hallway?
Yeah, and I didn't think that was like a serious thing though. I thought that was just like whatever. But this is kind of more sus because he's like, why is he talking to an Earthian, at the party where everyone can see and everyone's kind of watching, or like you see people notice, and it's really weird. So that's when you're like, okay, something's happening, or something happened.
Something ain't right.
And yeah, and Nika's like a major player or really important, because Shaddiq wouldn't just go up to her for no reason in the middle of a party where people can see her, right? So.
Yeah, no, like, they'd ask why he's associating with the filthy commoner.
Exactly. Why doth talketh to thy peasant? You know what I mean?
It must be because he's adopted.
Yeah, very weird. But we finally get to, like, the presentation where Soletta's kind of invited on stage with Elan. And the Peel presentation's basically a giant ploy to reveal Ariel is a Gundam by saying that Ariel has gun formats that can intertwine with the Fair Act, and Soletta, God bless her soul, if she has one, still has no idea the Ariel's a Gundam, and she's like, it's not a Gundam, and basically,
and I felt so fucking bad for her.
This entire scene sucks. Like, for me personally, because second time watching, I can tell that the whole fact that her mom isn't there and that it's happening the way it's happening, they set it up. They basically set this entire meeting up to shit on Soletta.
And the fact that they got, because like part of the plan too was like Lotta, Vim getting Prosper out of that area, right? While this is all happening.
Yeah, so she can't do anything.
So very masterly crafted, I found, and basically a whole scheme to disband the Ariel, which we all know would have never happened. It would have been like, now we have the Ariel and we're gonna use it and get all the information, blah, blah, blah. But the whole thing here was a show that they would get both Ariel and the Ferrect basically disbanded, and the basically the Beneric corpse would take over what was dissolved, right?
Yeah.
Actually, I'm not sure they would have been able to take the Ariel after, if this whole thing had gone off without a hitch. Like, the way I interpreted this was just pure spite.
This was an attempt
they had mentioned the Beneric group basically taking it over, which was kind of foreshadowed why the head of Grassley was talking to the Peel group right in the beginning of the episode to make a plan. So kind of this plan was, well, we know that Ferric's a Gundam, so we're going to use that because it was intertwined with the Ariel. We'll get you both disbanded, but we'll take both the Ferric and the Ariel, and the Beneric group will take it over. Because we find out, because Muriel comes in, Miorne comes in and kind of saves the day with some math. Some math here. She's like, by disposing the Ferric and dissolving the Peel company, or
it's not dissolving the company, it's just the project.
The project and the team
that the Grandpa gang, that the Grandma gang is claiming. Oh yeah, they did this whole thing, and we didn't notice anything wrong, even after we put our pilot in it twice.
Yes. So the loss for that is 240 billion smackaroos. And I don't know about you guys, but there's nothing more than a company hates. It's fucking losing money. And 240 billion is probably a lot, I would assume. Even that far in the future.
Well, we don't know what inflation's like in this in this timeline.
We don't even know what currency they're using.
True. Can it be worse than here? Who knows?
But no matter what currency they're using and how much worth this is, this would still be, of course, a huge loss.
Yes.
And what's also to be considered is the fact that it is very likely they did not plan, they didn't build the Fract just to fuck with the Ariel. They were actually building it to probably use it once they found somebody that could pilot it, like to destroy the other companies or something similar.
They would then have the best tech. They would have unrestricted access to the gun to arms.
Yeah. So this is basically like emergency worst case scenario plan where we if we're going down, we're taking the Ariel down, but really they're going to be taken by another company and they're going to be doing research on it, but Peel won't take the credit for it, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Like if they manage to bring down the Ariel and Shinsei, then bam, they once more have a monopoly on gun tech, and all they have to do is just point at some other employees and say they did it.
Yeah.
And they obviously wouldn't be giving up all the research and information they would have had from the thing. They would have 100% been saving that somewhere.
True.
So the moment the whole thing kind of, everybody's like, okay, we got rid of the Gundam, let's go back to normal. Pale could be like, okay, we built another Fract. Yeah. Fuck you guys.
We built another Fract. This one definitely uses drone tech.
Definitely.
And while we're at it,
Vim, vouch for us. Yep, those are definitely some drones.
Yep, those are drones. That is not a Gundam.
Nothing else going on.
While we're at it, I want to point out the fact that it seems like, obviously this is kind of foreshadowing the kind of a little bit of the end of the episode, but we're almost there, so I think it's okay to say.
Sure.
everybody seems to have some sort of depth or connection to Prospera. Every single person with power has some political reason to do what Prospera wants or to work with her. The guy from basically not Delling, what is not Grassley, not Hale, what are they? The Chork guy. Yeah,
Vim.
Vim is out there discussing some form of deal with her. The Pales
saying, well, the way I interpret that was basically, it wasn't so much, here's a new deal. It's, I'm going to get the Ariel killed. Hand over the blackmail material. Vim is not a forward thinker. He's doing this out of spite.
Yes. Yeah. The thing is, like, Prospera, I said it before, I think she's kind of like similar to Varys from Game of Thrones, where she has such outreach of knowledge and she's got like spies everywhere that she knows so much information that she can blackmail people into doing things. And people know that. And I think that the heads of companies kind of, there's maybe not a fear, but like a strong caution against her. Like, don't mess with me.
She seems to me very much like a puppet master in the background, while Delling is kind of actually in charge. It seems like she has established herself as somebody that can exert soft power over everybody. Like, she doesn't have that, I slap down 10 Ariels and you do what I say or I blow up all your shit. She's more like, it would be very bad if I release this data on your company saying that you killed these 100 workers. Kind of deal,
She's very insidious.
She's yet to be the actual antagonist, but she's still easily the most dangerous thing in the show so far.
She's cooking. She's still
Let
cooking.
Let her cook.
She's still cooking. Like a lot of the show, it's a very long cook.
It's a slow burn.
Well, the thing is too is like with the other antagonists in the show, we kind of have like an idea of what they're planning. We don't know what she's doing. Like we can all guess, but we don't literally know.
But that's for next time.
That's the only safe bet. As far as anything else, we have absolutely no clue how she plans to achieve that, if that is even the fact, the plan.
Like we don't even know if it's actual revenge or like, hey, my daughter's plowing your daughter.
Oh God!
Yeah. Now we're friends. We're friends now. They're getting married.
We have to hang out at family reunions, isn't that right, Delling? Me, the person you failed to kill, who then went on to build a Gundam, isn't that right?
Wow.
And I think it's actually really interesting because I've heard a lot of one of my closer friends is a big Gundam fan, and he's complaining a lot about like, nothing is happening and there's no payoff, and I'm just like. Look, okay, there's going to be 50 episodes of this if we're lucky. It's going to be, the next 12 are going to be so much better because we spent 12 episodes building up all this suspense.
Yeah, it's very...
Like, when this episode aired, I remember people complaining, this was such a nothing episode. Oh, nothing happened. It's like, what
so much happens in this episode?
What did you watch? Season.
Huh? Go ahead, sorry. You kind of got overshadowed.
I was just saying, this is like one of the most important plot episodes of the entire season, really.
Oh yeah, no, like this is the episode where things start changing, where the status quo gets shaken up. Where it's not just Suletta defending Nearing.
I think people are used to having like a Gundam shows where it's a lot of pew pew, and this show has some of that, but a lot of it is masterly crafted underneath. It's there's a lot of bad shit bubbling at the surface. That's gonna really explode, and I think we're gonna get that big pew pew moments. And I think
Okay, so nothing is a lot of IBO for these expectations.
Yeah,
and this just.
You blame IBO for people's expectations. I would agree with that.
I mean, Gundam in general has done a lot of most Gundam shows. The stakes are known from the get go. Like, everything OC Gundam is ES, Earth Federation versus Xeon. The stakes they're there. The stakes. That's all of UC basically. It's just one side versus there's complications obviously, but it's always the stakes are there. One side is trying to beat the other. Right now, we don't We don't have that right now. We
Yeah.
have assumptions, but nothing is set in stone on what the stakes are of this storyline.
Everything here, the way that it's done is very subtle, and there's a saying that the subtle knife cuts the deepest. So I really think there's going to be a crazy fallout, and I think like all hell is going to be broken loose. Yeah. With not only like we haven't seen a lot of like actually like the Earth in this kind of like story right now. It's been mostly regarding the Spacians and the corporations, which I think is going to collapse, but we'll talk about that at a different time. But I think like things are just going to happen, and it's going to go nuts. So
we have yet to see those whose souls are weighed down by gravity.
Yeah,
I think we
nice.
without getting too much into it, I think a lot of the upcoming preview stuff in terms of like promo images and stuff has made a huge implication that Earth is on the horizon.
Yeah. Just moving forward, we see that basically Mjolnir does all the math and makes her little speech to make basically merge a new company, Gundam R Inc. And no one's biting because she doesn't have anyone backing her. No one trusts her. She needs a bit more oomph, and that's when we get kind of like that Prospera kind of manipulation where it's like, Mjolnir, you need to kind of throw away your pride and stuff. So what she does, she runs to her father, begs her father, who's basically the king, right? Let's be honest here. He's the king. Everyone he's in control. This is his domain, and begs him to back the company, right? Even if it's a small amount, like if he backs it, everyone's like, oh shit, dude, he's backing and we all gonna back it. And that's exactly what happens.
We can't not back it.
Yeah.
He knows where fortune is.
You're right. Exactly.
But
so
side note, I love the detail that Mio kicks off her high heels for the sprint.
Yeah, and I think she chose that. Well, no, the dress that she has on is perfect for sprinting, while I don't think Soletta's is, just as a...
So I don't think Mia wore this planning to
No, not planning, but it's a good dress to run in if she needs to.
I want to point out something because we're basically, the big thing of the episode has happened. Yeah. It feels almost like Prospera knew exactly what was going to happen. Like, it legitimately feels like you don't just randomly tell a girl, you have to ditch your pride, chick.
She knew.
That's not something you just... Yeah, but it's like she knew, and she knew exactly what advice to give so that everything would turn out the way she wants it.
I'm not sure if
she could have...
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm not sure if you remember, but I think in the couple episodes back was one of Prospera's advisors. We don't really know who he is, but had said something, and Prospera's like, well, Peel's on the move. So I think when she found that out, she did kind of like her digging and knew exactly this was going to happen. She knew exactly this was going to happen.
Yeah.
So
she knew exactly this was going to happen, and like she has to have a psych profile on Miorine, but there's no way she didn't have that from before the series started.
For sure, she knows everything. I'm convinced. She's got her.
Like I said,
daggers.
Puppet Master.
She's the puppet master. Yeah.
She is a Char.
Question. Why do you think Delling accepted to backing the company, even though he's vehemently against Gundams? And we know those because prologue and stuff. But why do you think?
Because it's been 20 years.
It's been 20 years, and he can set... His anti-Gundamness was to seize power, and now he sees the winds are changing.
Yes.
And like at first you think it's because like the whole line, you can't run away anymore, but then he goes on to say you can't run away from the curse of the Gundam. It's a heavy burden to bear.
Yes.
And I think he's realized the burden has to be, somebody has to bear the burden with responsibility, or the Gundam is going to destroy everything he has built. So he would rather put, the whole thing into the hands of somebody he can more or less directly control than just kind of try to basically stop the inevitable.
Listen, his alternatives are the Grandma Gang or Prospera.
I think he's having a moment of sometimes you just need to let the kid touch the stove kind of thing. Like, I think it's a different direction. I think he does not believe in her. but he needs to kind of all this rebellious behavior she's been doing recently. He doesn't see a way for him to just speak to her and stop it. It needs to fail on its own in his head. If it fails on its own, she will come crawling back to him and basically then get in line from that point on. I think that's what I got. That's the feeling I got from this.
Yes, I agree with you.
My sense is that the Gundams are inevitable and that the future is going to move on, and why not have some control over it by using his daughter, having control over his daughter. And like I think he kind of is like, I stopped it, 21 years ago, but it's kind of happening again. And I think maybe in his age, he's like, I know I can't stop it forever. It's a thing. Eventually it's going to pop up again.
Evolution. And
I feel like it's kind of like that.
Yeah, he's basically saying, I tried to stop this. It didn't work. And now that kind of, because we can tell that Delling's power and the Benerit group is kind of fading in the world at the moment, because they keep saying that like this is a big thing for the company and stuff like that, and it feels like this is him kind of realizing that, okay, the way we're doing things right now isn't going to work forever, so I would rather be at the helm, at the forefront of this new technology that will revolutionize war and everything, than sit back, let it happen on my own, be destroyed by it.
Right. I agree. I agree with that. So we're here again, and it's like, why do you guys think Prospero lied to her daughter about the Gundam until now?
So that would have kept it a secret.
Yeah, Soleda's stupid. She would have just been like, she's a precious cinnamon roll, but she has no idea.
This just in, Soleda is stupid. It's official.
Look, no, she's too trusting. She would have spilled the beans the moment somebody won her trust over.
Yeah.
And like, as we've seen, that's not that hard to do.
Yes, that's true. With her like her lack of any social skills, I think you're right, where it would be so easily to manipulate her and to gain her trust that she'd probably spill the beans. So the less she knows, the better.
I'd even say, okay, she lied, but sometimes there is types of lies you tell people to protect them. Sometimes you have to lie to somebody so that they do not feel bad, or that there's certain information people can't handle, and it's better to shoulder the burden of them eventually finding out when they can handle it that you lied to them than the information hurting them in the moment or later on. It's better to hope that they'll figure it out themselves and then forgive you because they can tell that you basically lied to them, because like Soleda, you can't keep your fucking mouth shut. Yeah. And you would have said it and we would have been fucked. So I think this is the kind of lie where it's like, okay, child, you cannot be trusted with this information, so I will lie to you. But
Lucas, I gotta ask you something. I gotta ask you.
Go ahead.
Would your girlfriend agree with you?
I don't know. She might be in chat. She might even be in chat right now.
I feel like it's like, I lied to you to protect you. I don't think she would believe.
Yeah, no, like, I'm sure. Like, I love Soleda. I adore her as a character. Yeah. I want to hug this child. I would not tell her.
No,
right. I wouldn't tell her either.
Right. Do you think it's hurt her in the end though?
No, I think Soleda is.
No, she's too loyal to her mother for this to really have lasting impact.
And it's not going to affect her attachment to the Ariel either. She's not like suddenly going to see the Ariel as this new thing, as this monster thing from the history books. No, she still sees the Ariel as
Ariel is still Ariel. And she could I could even make a point for Soleda could even understand the fact that her mom lied to protect them to some degree. Of course, how much of that she understands, I don't know, but I could see that. However, I can definitely see Mjolnir having a grudge.
Yes.
Because of this. Because she feels like, oh, you don't trust your child. Because she couldn't understand this concept. Right. Sometimes you have to lie to people to protect them. Even though it's still a shitty thing to do. Shitty thing to do.
Great points. As we come to the end of that episode, what do you guys how many Gundams out of 10 are you giving this episode?
10.
We'll start with Medic first.
Sorry. Wait, did you guys hear that?
No.
I heard
good.
it.
My roommate just started screaming about a game in the other room. So
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Medic, what are we giving this episode out of 10 Gundams?
A 10. It raised the suspense incredibly, set the scene. And I fucking empathize with Suletta so goddamn hard when all eyes were on her.
Right.
And like this is the big changing point. This is where the status quo changed. This is where Miorine starts to stand on her own feet.
Good points. Locus.
Not for herself, but for
Medic.
For the girl she doesn't quite admit to loving yet.
Right. Locus.
This is a 10 for me. And this is one of those episodes I can give a 10 because I gave other episodes a worse score.
Yep.
Because in like a pure Gundam kind of sense, this has no action. There's no like combat going on, but there's simply so much changing about the world. It's a definite 10. However, I will say the next episode I don't like. I don't like the one that comes after this.
I see.
That one does feel like an episode.
So for me, I do want to rate it like a 9, but I'm going to go 10 because I've been super generous to episodes that were inferior to this episode, so I have to go with a 10.
Okay.
Because nothing since like the prologue has set up this much plot in one single meeting. This sets up basically the majority of the second half of the season. Is set up right here.
I'm gonna have to agree with you guys. This episode was, even though there was no action, there's just a crazy amount of subtle stuff going on. Things are beginning to boil. There's just it's absolutely insane. I'm gonna have to give it a 9. Really good episode. We get into episode number 8. We find something I thought was kind of interesting. Of all the places for Gundam Inc. to be located and to be held, it's in the Earthian house. Do you guys think this is a slap in the face of all the Spacians, or what are the Spacians thinking about that? What do you guys think?
Oh, they set up in the only place with people who would talk to them.
That's exactly where I'm at too.
So I think it's definitely like an insult to the children that, the other kids in the school.
Yeah.
However, from like an adult standpoint, if you know what goes down at the school, completely understandable. I wouldn't have done anything else. All the other kids are absolute fucking jackasses.
Mio, she fucking hates every major head of house.
Yes.
Like,
I'm convinced she doesn't like anybody, really, but.
And Choo-Choo's, Choo-Choo's probably going to try to punch her, but she can live with that.
Yep. I just found that really interesting, where we're going to put this company that so many people invested in. It's going to be the head of the Earthian house, where pretty much everyone in the school does not like, or does not care for, or like despised. So it's just kind of really, I mean, I think as an adult, as an investor adult, it's, this is just, it doesn't matter to them because it's just like a petty school thing and it doesn't matter, right? But I just
thought, not even pettiness. She's just making sure that no other company can overshadow her company in its own location.
Right.
I would even say it makes sense to do it that way, even if even the Earth House wouldn't talk to them, because it's the only neutral party. If you go with any of the other major groups, you put yourself on somebody's side. If I went to the Pale House, I would be saying, okay, we indirectly support Pale because we live in their building. If you go to go anywhere else, somebody's going to be like, okay, so you don't want to work with us, you want to work with those guys. I see how it is.
Yeah.
Well, you become the McDonald's and the Walmart.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. So from what we talked about in the last episode regarding Suletta, we see Suletta and Miorne confront Prospera about the aerial. Prospera kind of ignores a bit of the questions and kind of gives, because Miorne asked, specifics of why have you been hiding it? How did this all happen? Prospera kind of ignores those questions and just is like, here's the numbers, here's all the data that you need, kind of to shut it up from digging. And then we get to Suletta basically asking Prospera why did you keep it a secret? And she basically says that she like throws off her arm and like, look, it's just an arm, right? She's like, yeah, it's just an arm. Well, basically people will fear what they don't understand, and Scylla's like, oh, okay, I'm good. She just kind of like runs with it.
Yeah,
And I think that's what you were saying before, right?
Relationship.
And that's what you guys were saying before, where she'll just kind of accept whatever from her mom because she loves her mom and it's okay.
Episode 12.
Yup.
Do you guys really believe Prospera loves Soletta?
Yes.
Yes,
but if if Aries already in the aerial, that's not going to stop her from doing what she feels needs to be done.
Yes. However, I think the fact that even though, kind of just everything that happens kind of tells me that yes, she loves her child. Going to assume that that's true. But it's kind of very tough love. It's not,
I find it a little bit weird because Miorne brings up like a good point where, like, why didn't Soletta ask why the aerial doesn't harm her? And I hate it because, like, she brings up like the whole thing. It's like, oh well, because Ariel's my family. She pulls the Fast and Furious card, like, because I got family card, and I think it's just kind of really really weird.
I imagine the reveal is going to be Ariel is her family.
I think
her actual
Aries in the damn machine.
Well, no, I just think it's so such a childish answer from Soletta. Like, oh, it doesn't hurt me because it's family. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's really weird.
It is.
I
but
get what you mean.
It's
I just
fully
fully expect it to be the reveal as well.
It's kind of like a super simple answer, but I think so. We're talking about things that affect brainwaves. What has the closest brainwaves to you but your own brain? If Soletta is a clone of some kind, she's going to have a lot of the similar like brainwaves to Aerie if that's her in the aerial. Yeah. So it wouldn't cause there wouldn't be any negative side effects because it's basically just her brain connecting with her brain.
But if she doesn't even know Ariel's a Gundam, I just mean like it's such a like she doesn't dig in, like Soletta doesn't inquire like, oh well, it's hurting like Elan, but it's not hurting me. Like, oh, it's because we're like it's so childish.
Yeah,
she doesn't know it's hurting Elan.
Yeah,
last she saw, Elan was perfectly fine.
Oh, that's true.
And I would add that if you are, because like we assume that Soletta kind of, she didn't go to school. She wasn't really taught to be curious, and was kind of taught just do whatever mom says and it'll be okay. And that seems to have rung out true for her entire life. So why would she stop doing that now?
She's not really a thinker, right? She's just kind of like, I don't know.
She's a little, I would say she is kind of similar to Mikazuki, where Mikazuki's like, okay, Orga, tell me where to point the gun. Like, basically point me the proverbial gun at this guy, and I will kill this person.
But just 100 times sweeter, right?
Mika has all of independent thoughts all of twice, and both circumstances are someone heard Atra. The world will die.
Yeah.
And I still think Soletta has more, maybe not now, but later on, more independent thought than that. But it's definitely something that I think will develop over the show. And this will be like her major character arc will be going from this very naive, childish kid to maybe still naive, but an adult that actually questions things. Somebody that goes, okay, mom, why didn't you tell me?
I just feel also like I agree. I feel like for a 17-year-old, this is like I just feel she is very, very childish.
Yes, definitely.
I think developmentally she's more in line with like a 9 or 10-year-old developmentally. I think social development wise, all of her behavior. Like I think it was mentioned last time, a lot of her behavior was, normalized, or it's like learned from what she watched, basically as far as shows and stuff go.
Yeah,
she's seeing the perspective from young kids, so she doesn't grow out of that because she doesn't know what like real like late teens problems are because she hasn't experienced anything about late teen problems.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm just glad Prospero taught her about the birds and the bees.
Oh God.
Yeah, I don't even think that was Prospera. I think that was the anime.
In the
At
next,
some point, she
Goku
would have
didn't even learn that till his 40s, so she's ahead of him at least.
in the next scene we get here, we get Shaddiq basically casually asking Miorne that to take over the company in exchange to marry her. And I thought this was kind of like a big power move, but is there?
I thought it's stupid.
I thought it was.
There's no way she would say yes. There's no way she would say yes.
He's the childhood friend. He's the one coming in to save her. Ironically, he's closer to Utena than Suletta is, in the sense of he thinks he's the dashing knight in shiny armor here to save the damsel, but the damsel's already been saved and she's already learned to stand on her own 2 feet.
But I feel like it's actually a really good move on Shaddiq's part because he comes in. It's a great proposition because he has he's got basically a huge pile of money backing right from the Grassley to help fund the rest of the project. And I just think that, it's good for everyone. And he also gets to marry Miorne and to protect her basically. I don't know. I just think it's just like a Chad move on him coming in for the proposition. I think it's just a great move.
He thinks based on the way he acts and the fact that he has a harem, it's like he thinks who was the leader of the turbines in IBL?
Orga? Wait, turbines?
The guy with the hat.
Yes, I know who you mean.
Oh, shit! What was his name? Oh, I love that guy. I can't remember his name.
I love him so much too.
Biscuit?
Naze.
Oh, Naze?
Yeah, Naze.
He thinks he's Naze.
No, Nabe.
Nabe.
With the B.
Whatever. He thinks he's him.
Okay.
And he's not. But, Shaddiq clearly sees himself as a good guy, whereas, Ghoul saw himself as a winner.
Neither of them. Which are...
And Elon just...
he's just going with the flow.
he is not bothering to think about morality. He is just...
yeah.
I want it.
In the next scene, we finally get a look at the Earthian house and them discussing kind of the Gundam Inc. And basically after the acquisition, we find out they're pretty much broke. And they need a business plan. And there's an interesting little dialogue that pops up from the bit like this. The discussion is, what do we do? And one of the things was, well, we could create weapons and sell it.
Is just, as long as it's being sold to Earthians, I do not care and actively encourage it.
Yes. The interesting quote I have here is, Earth would be a battlefield again. From what we've seen so far, do you guys think there was some sort of Spacian Earth battle in the past, based from what we've kind of seeing how almost looks like kind of Spacians kind of control a bit of the Earth and how poor Earthians kind of appear to be? Do you think there was some sort of colony drop event? Did Char's counterattack already happen kind of thing? What do you guys think? Well,
you see, there was this event called the 16th Annual Gundam Fight. I'm kidding. So, I actually think this might be the drone war that we've talked about.
Okay.
It happened on Earth. Earth got fucked up, and everyone in the higher class who could afford to leave left. Okay. So everyone left is automatically lower class.
Do you guys think the Spacians kind of control a lot of the Earth, basically? Or what's left of it? Okay.
Yeah.
They eventually come up kind of say they all agree not to make weapons to sell it, and Miorne is kind of against it, but she looks around and it's everyone's saying look, if you want to make weapons and sell them, Miorne, we don't want you here. So she's okay, well, all right. She agrees. and basically gives everyone tasks, and it's like, you guys need to complete this in 2 weeks, and everyone's like, Nani, what the hell, 2 weeks? It's not enough time. But
yeah, they were fully prepared to kick her out on the grounds. If she just kind of marched in here and said said this was her company now.
Yeah, and
yes, she's given them jobs. Yes, she's going to Earth House for the for her super important history changing project.
Yeah,
but at the same time, she did just kind of show up and start bossing them around because they're Suletta's friends.
True. The next scene is kind of sad for me, poor Guel is basically getting bullied on the campground, and he's kind of taking it like a Chad, like it's not bothering him, like he's getting like milk poured on him, but he's just kind of eating his food and not carrying away. But they piss off when Shaddiq appears and offers Ghoul to come to his house, and big Chad moment, Ghoul refuses because he's got that pride, I feel he's got that pride in him. Would you guys have accepted that offer?
No. Shaddiq is
for Ghoul. Shaddiq is probably
endorsing Shaddiq's savior complex.
He does have that complex, doesn't he? He feels like he is that white knight, eh?
Yeah, no.
I also think for Ghoul, somebody like Shaddiq that doesn't duel is a huge pussy. I would never accept help from somebody like that.
Yeah, because that's the thing about Ewan and Shaddiq. They never dueled while Ghoul was in charge, but the moment he goes down, they're like, I can take her.
Yeah.
Wow. Good observation. I actually never thought of it that way, but yeah, it seems like, and then that kind of makes it more like understandable why he's got that big harem, right? Like he's like, the girls probably see him as that white knight, but he's really not, And
if you actually look at the harem, more than a few of them are just random psychopaths.
Yeah,
but again, feel like they're supposed to be a poor man's version of the Turbines.
Oh, okay, yeah, fair enough. In the next kind of scene, we see like Shaddiq's father saying we must eliminate all the Gundams, but Shaddiq seems to disagree, and we kind of get his like side thoughts, basically calling him narrow-minded. And
which leads me to question how the hell that said father broke the agreement in the past if he's this anti-Gundam. Like, he's more stuck in the past than Delling.
Yes. What do you think the play is here?
Like, maybe that's why every time we see him, he's hooked up to tubes.
Damn. Well, it's because he doesn't want to use the gun format technology to help him get better. He's using the old oxygen tank and tubes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, because like compared to the Granny Gang, who, yes, they're mostly cybernetics, but they're functional.
I feel like low key those grannies are all clones of each other. They all look the same, but different.
That's what I meant. They might be clones or something like that.
Yeah.
One fat, one short, one lean.
They were the initial attempt. They were the initial attempt at making something.
When but which one's the original? Who's the original?
Who knows?
When we see Belmyra Winston again, she's talking to Miorne, who wants to know more about the Gundams, and she asks, like, Belmyra kind of mentions Gundam or Gund ideals. What do you guys think those Gund ideals are?
We've seen the episode, and like the ideals are to improve humanity, to push forward into the next generation, to change humanity so that they can better survive the rigors of expansion.
Mm-hmm.
As example, to not have Shaddiq's dad have to be hooked up to a bunch of tubes.
Yeah, no, like being
wheelchair
able
bound
to just keep moving forward in the face of our own frailty.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I guess she's going to pass down information and discuss it with Miorne. But in the next,
is interesting though is Belmyra doesn't appear to have any Gund implants.
Not that we can see.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting there's no telling who has or doesn't, considering how not Soleda's mom, some of them that are shown in the reel that we get, I don't think like the next scene is when Mjorn is laying in her bed watching that presentation.
Yes.
And you can see that some of them would be completely hidden under clothing and skin. So unless the person wanted you to see it, there would be no telling that they have any.
Yeah, there's that one scene where it's like it shows like the back of a person.
Yeah, that's
and it shows
exactly
them,
what I mean.
Yeah.
That was also in the
prologue.
Yeah, prologue.
Yeah.
I actually think this is a very smart way to recycle footage.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, save some money. Yep, I agree.
And the problem is, I'm going to just say this straight up right now. This feels like a filler episode.
It very much is.
A little bit, yeah, I agree. The next kind of scenes we see Shaddiq pays another visit to Mjorn saying, "Look, if y'all build Gundams like Ariel and the strength, or like similar to Ariel, and the strength to defeat all the companies, I could get buyers who could care less about the cathedral agreement." And
it's cathedra or cathedral, because I think it's cathedra.
Cathedra, okay. When he mentions like get buyers who don't really care about the cathedra agreement, do you guys think he's maybe referring to people like on Earth or something?
Yes, 100%.
Yep. Like we've all seen the later episodes.
Yeah, okay.
You know who he's talking about.
Yeah. At the end, we kind of like see Shaddiq again offer a deal to work together. And what he brings to the table is basically the financial backing, tons of clients, and an easy way to sell. And again, Mjorn is like, "Nah, I'm good.
Fuck you.
No, I'm good.
Get out of here.
Get your ass out of here."
It's kind of the same way that you guys remember the red-haired guy that ends up destroying the turbines out of spite. It's kind of like. Yeah, it's kind of like he's treated by the turbines, where they're just like, you basically don't you come in here with all this talk, but you haven't really shown us that you're capable of anything. Because up to that point, Shaddiq hasn't gotten into a Gundam or a mobile suit and been like, I'm gonna mess up this person.
Yeah,
like that guy's one trump card was I have an idiot on speed dial.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Oh my! I hate. What is his name? I hate him.
Everyone hates Eok.
So
Everyone
much.
hates Eok. Yeah.
During the when the series was airing, there was a hashtag going around in Japan and called the Eok Extermination Squad. And also, let's figure out interesting ways to kill Eok. Anyway, back on topic.
The next kind of like scene, we see the Earth House again. And Mjorn basically saying, "Look, we have got two options to make bank here. We either sell Gundams as weapons, and then we kind of see a video of a person we haven't seen basically since the prologue, Dr. Carta." And
understandably so.
Yep, and understandably slow because she's either dead or missing or both, or not dead or being used. We don't know, but she's basically saying like
she's alive.
But we're basically kind of saying rebuild the Gund technology to have it be medical use only, and basically it's the original intent. So I thought, fine. That's kind of like where we started right in the beginning. But I find also that history repeats itself, if you know what I mean. That they're gonna do this and shit's gonna go down again. We see a little cute homemade video to promote the Gundam.
Gundam.
I love the little detail that Suletta's slowly losing her mind after all the retakes and the day change. Well, and the day goes to night.
Yeah.
And by the end of it, she's just fucking broken.
Yeah.
She has been here for hours repeating the same dance song and dance.
Yeah. Funny
She's
thing
about to
is
slap someone.
Funny thing too is they were doing like, I remember they were doing practicing the sketch or trying to edit it, and she's like, "Oh, look, you can see on here on the screen that part. You can see it was clearly edited. It doesn't make any sense, or like it doesn't. It looks edited."
Like,
yeah.
And then they just say, fuck it. And also the fact that Ariel's arm is clearly stretched out because it can't actually pose like that. But
Yeah.
you know, someone on Twitter pointed out that this is actually fucking brilliant marketing tactics because, like, it demonstrates. Well, one, it's harnessing cringe culture. Ah, fuck! I just poked myself over with the knife again.
Yes.
Anyway,
Don't die
it is
on us.
harnessing cringe culture, but more than that, it's basically immediately saying this girl pilots the Gundam. The Gundam is in sync with her. She is perfectly fine up and dancing.
Yes. We there's one thing that we you know, Choo Choo is kind of like really on board with this medical technology because it could really, she mentions it could help a lot of people on Earth, especially the miners where kind of she grew up around, because they lose a lot of limbs in the mines, and she's like, if I can help my people and also make money off of it, like, why not, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, everything seems to be going according to plan. Everything's on the up and up. Like we've got a plan.
Everything's coming up.
Everything's coming up Millhouse. We're doing good. And then Shaddiq pulls the big middle finger by introducing a new regulation, Article 53, Paragraph 3 of Student Business Startup, which says or adds as a safety regulation being put in place.
Article 1 of the Student Conduct Accords.
So what I got from this basically is like, before you can start up the business, all the stuff that you're going to be doing, it needs to pass a safety regulation where it can't harm anybody or stuff like that, where this has potential obviously to do, especially just from, you know, the history.
Which,
so
also,
it's a big middle finger, right? Like, you know what I mean?
Also, this could also be just like twisted to the point of, oh, you want to start up anything involving mobile suits? Sorry, those could step on someone.
Yeah, exactly. There's that too. I just find like it kind of just also
throws out every piece of competition he could possibly have.
It also shows like how much power he actually has, right? Like he's able to go in and just change the regulation. Like, who else can do that? You know what I mean? That's just a big power move. Like, holy, man.
Like, I'm not gonna argue that.
Yeah.
Also, I had a thought, and something that I think was this episode that also fuels the idea that he sees himself as a savior. All of his harem fully believes Mireen would be happier with them. Like, sure, she'll be sad after we trample her hopes, dreams, and ambition. But she can't possibly.
They're like, we can cheer her up. You can cheer her up when she's part of the harem.
There's actually like a deleted scene. I don't know if you guys know, but it's all the harem girls that are there with Shaddiq. And when Shaddiq's offering to, like, you know, to bring her in, they're all like, one of us.
That sounds accurate for them.
Yes. All of those girls sound very airheaded. Like, even the more serious one, they all seem like they're very much enthralled with who Shaddiq is. And they're like, you know, they're like
It's
teenage girls who are like, yeah. And it's like, you know, when you have those teenage fangirl clubs of like the big, you know, the jock, the cool guy, and all the girls are like, look at her, she's with the cool guy. I wish I was like her.
I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you exactly why. It's another theme in the story, in the series, is like, you know, about parents and how it's just like how a lot of parents, especially like, you know, big investors and like people who are, you know, very corporate inclined, they kind of treat their kids like shit. And when you have Shaddiq, who comes in and is kind of like, you know, plays that part of like the white knight, the like, I'm going to pay attention to you, you know, you can, you know, you'll be safe. It's like, of course these girls are going to gravitate to him, you know, even if it's like kind of like not real, right?
Daddy.
So, yeah, Shaddiq's like, you can call me daddy, you know, or call me papi. You know what I mean? So it's to be honest, it's not surprising, you know, it's not surprising. But then we get to, actually, you know, before we get to episode 9, what are we rating this episode? Who wants to go first?
I mean, What do
I
you
see.
guys
Go ahead. I see.
Okay,
Go ahead.
okay, I'll go. Not high. I can't even. This is not like this is a filler episode basically. Like everyone said, it's a filler episode. The only reason I'm giving it a 6 is because of their sales video. That's it. Other than that, this would be a solid 4 or 5. There's not enough going on in this episode to where I think it's relevant. Other than the final 5 minutes, it does like a basic TV show thing where like, hey, here's some intensity for the next 5 minutes that'll make you watch next week.
Yeah. Medic?
Other than that, nothing.
Yeah, no, also a 6 because, as I said, this is a filler episode. There's nothing in this episode that couldn't have been worked into other episodes. Unlike the last one, where despite the lack of action, so much was going on, so much was happening. Here, it's no. They're just deciding what direction do we take the company, and then Shaddiq just steps in and says, "Ha, no."
Yeah, sums it up right there.
Yeah.
Locust?
So I think this episode could have been a lot better. So like I'm going to give it like a 5 or 6, somewhere between there. And I think that the emotional beats that come in the kind of the next 3 episodes, so we won't be talking about them sadly, even though they are personally to me very important. I think if they had started that here, it would have been far more important, and then left it kind of, one episode earlier to give not the more interesting, but like the more plot pressing things instead of the emotional parts, more room. So that's why this episode is just a 5 for me, because things that would have made other episodes better could have been covered here, but instead it's kind of just pure filler.
I agree.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go a bit further down. I'm gonna go with the 3. This episode, again, like you've all said before, it's a filler. This could have easily been put in with another episode saying, even just in brief mentioning, with the Earthians discussing, being like, look, Shaddiq came in, he offered me this, I said no, and it's just not going to work out. We got 2 choices: sell or do Gundam our technology. This is what you guys got to do. Boom. That could have taken a couple minutes in one episode. Like we didn't need all this, filler garbage. And I just felt like it was such a waste. So
much of Shaddiq's character is still just us extrapolating and guesstimating, because we see because this episode still barely tells us anything about him, and
I don't find him interesting.
No,
there's nothing really interesting about him.
He's got money and power for the rest of the quarter, but honestly, aside from seeing him just outmaneuver Vim, it's not particularly interesting.
Yeah, it's really.
I think it has the same problem that IBO has with the kind of gangster arc in the 2nd season. The villain is too shallow to be really kind of... Shaddiq is a very interesting character, but he's not somebody I can kind of feel with. You know what I mean? He's not somebody we're just like a bit of the villain is relatable. They have a good reason to do what they're doing. Shaddiq is kind of just being a dick for the sake of being a dick.
We don't know anything about his reasons. Does he have a good reason?
We don't really know why he's doing the things he does. We just know he's an orphan and he's rich, obviously, but we don't really have again, this episode really could have been like a 2-minute thing introducing
of the 3 house heads. Shaddiq is easily the weakest.
Yeah. And with Gwell, Shaddiq has had maybe not as much, but close to as much general screen time as Gwell. Right? And Gwell is so well developed. Yes. And Shaddiq is just I bang girls and I'm a dick.
Yeah, no, but I think I'm nice. But I think I'm a nice guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hashtag incel things.
Yep. All right, let's move on from this travesty into episode 9, where I got really excited because I was like, oh yes, it's the return of Ghoul and he's fighting again, and it's
all did.
not jinx, psych. It's a damn flashback.
Yeah, no, and we also thought, they're gonna finally be able to use the ferret. We'll start assembling the Gundam team. Yeah,
that's a lot of hopes kind of crushed.
So
the
actually, that
first
one's completely understandable because yes, the moment someone from Earth House gets put in that, they're going to die.
Yeah.
I also think that it's simply none of the pilots, even Choo Choo, are near nowhere. Even Choo Choo is nowhere near good enough to pilot something like the Fract.
No.
Like-
no. I
it's
agree
not
with
even
you.
piloting ability.
She's a
it's
good
the fact that
pilot.
It would melt your brain.
Yeah, that and then just like general pilot skill to pilot something with, gun bits and the weird laser stuff that the Fract can do. Choo Choo would sit there and be like, I don't know how this works. Put me back in my Demi trader, please.
Like she understands how to use a sniper rifle, and that's about it.
Yeah. So it's funny because we see another flashback again of Shaddiq trying to get Mjolnir on his side, and I'm like, oh my god! So they've been doing this this song and dance for a long time. You know what I mean? It's not his first rodeo.
Brushes him off. Like every time he shows up acting like a savior, and Mio's just like, no, I don't care.
Bitch, fuck off. Leave me alone. She's like, leave me alone. I don't want nothing to do with your ilk.
Yeah. It's annoying. It actually is annoying at this point. But we see more because the next kind of scene's like them at a meeting with Shaddiq, Soletta, and Mjolnir. And it's like, okay, Mjolnir, here's another offer. I'm gonna own the company. You're still gonna be the president. You're still gonna handle the management and the operations. But I just kind of basically get to sell it, right? Sell the stuff eventually.
Oh, also another thing.
Yeah.
Based on that flashback, he has been trying to play the part of savior for a while.
Yeah.
Not once did he challenge Ghoul.
Yeah, that's the funny thing. Ghoul must have been the holder for a long time. She was like, I can't beat him. He would beat my ass and I would look like a fool. So I'm just going to sit here and wait for my opportunity. And now he's pissed because Soletta is there. And he even tries to discourage Soletta and stuff like that. So it's like, you look like a jackass. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, no,
Right.
like, he tries to discourage Soletta because, like, he tries to appeal to Soletta's morality because like, I'm the good guy here. Sure, well, she's a good kid. Surely she'll see.
Yeah.
And so it's like, fuck off. Leave Bjorn alone.
Also, Miriam's the one who wears the pants in the relationship, dude. You're not getting Soletta to convince her of shit.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And also too, part of the offer is like, well, also, it bypasses the regulation 53 because
Convenient.
Because I already have I'm already an existing company. I'm just taking over yours, so it's already existing, and it bypass the startup regulation 53, and like you said, convenient, right? So
and then immediately
the guy who
Bjorn
wrote
is
the
like,
regulations knows the loopholes.
well, of course, yeah. Sorry, Lucas, go ahead.
And then Mjorn is like immediately, that's very convenient for you.
Yeah.
You wrote that rule, didn't you? And he's like, no, I would never. Nah. I didn't do that. No, okay. Because the funny thing is, in the episode before the filler, he acknowledges that she's smart.
Yes.
So he should have seen it coming. That she's like, that was you, bitch.
And again, the fact that he didn't see it coming is just kind of.
The fact that he did it the day she turned him down.
Yeah, not like so we kind of know like Shaddiq's not really smart either.
He's a spiteful dick.
Yeah, I don't really care for him as a character too much, but
he's just such a disappointment.
I'm not mad. I'm not mad at him. I'm disappointed.
And what I want to say is, I feel like why the last episode is even worse with this one is you could have made episode 9, episode 8, and then at the start it's like just like a 5-minute thing where it's a flashback to what became episode 8, and then you're in this meeting. And it wouldn't have, and then you could have put basically you just skip the fight, put that in the episode, the new episode 9, and then you could make some emotional thing with Mjolnir and Soletta to deepen their relationship at the end of that.
It was just, I find it was just
especially because
poor choice.
There's a lot in episode 9 that you could cut.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
One last thing. However, I can understand that with how dense this show is, because we're on our second watch through, and I think we're still not picking up on everything.
Yeah.
It's understandable that the writing team had to go somewhere. Okay, we need to slow down, because if we put another banger episode in this, right, or if we write another banger episode from what we have, it's going to be too much information, and then it's going to get confusing. Because I feel like right now we're at that perfect level of stuff's happening, and then we slow down a little bit, and then stuff's happening again.
Yeah, maybe it was like kind of like a brain cooler, you know what I mean? Like the episode before. Like it's just like we're gonna do this episode, not put too much stuff in it, like you said, and just let the brain cool down. Let's not.
Especially because the next arc is the last 3 episodes. Knock it out of the park.
Yeah. So with this kind of like Mjolnir straight up was like, look, bitch, I'm not taking this deal. I'm not taking this deal. But you know what I'm going to do? You know what I'm going to do? It's time to duel.
I will say,
insert Yu-Gi-Oh theme song.
that was the moment I was like, oh, they're going to lose. Just because of how cocky and sure Mio was acting.
Wait, you thought Mio was going to lose?
Yeah, no, like I thought Earth House would get their asses kicked because Mio started the duel. Mio played right into what Shaddiq clearly wanted.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like you think kind of like a big
bluff. Went on to say, "Oh yeah, it'll be fine." Well, it'll be fine. And as a bonus, we get to now we now have the arrow on record of stomping all 3 houses.
Yeah, and we're gonna
and we knew Shaddiq had access to antidote.
Okay, well, let's not get too ahead of ourselves. Lucas, go.
I think it's actually, while kind of reckless, it's a proof in Mjolnir's confidence in Soleda's ability.
I disagree.
She's so sure of Soleda's ability to beat, Shaddiq's ass, that she's like, all right, let's do this.
I disagree. I think this is what they call in the business a desperation move, where you've literally got no other choice, and you gotta basically do the desperation move, and hopefully you gamble on it. And I think this is kind of Mjolnir being gambling.
I can see that.
I think she's going all in because she's got nothing else. And we're gonna. And I think it fits because of how we're gonna see how unprepared they really are. So we go to like the next scene where we find out it's gonna be a 6v6, which we've never seen before in any of the duels, and it's gonna be broadcasted outside of the Benerit group, so everyone can see it. Again, this is like, well, if we win, it's going to be really positive for our brand, and we'll get more investors into the Gundam technology if we win, because we'll have Ariel and she's a Gundam and stuff like that. So, and I guess they all agree to that, right? And basically, if Shaddiq wins, he gets the company, and he gets to do whatever he wants with it, right?
Yep.
So this is why kind of like the next part is we go to the Earthing house, and she tells them about what's happening and why I think it was just like kind of a Hail Mary. It's not like we have no other option, is because not only don't they have mobile suits, they don't even have proper pilots to
the only pilots are Soleta and Chushu.
Yeah, exactly. So we don't have an actual piloting crew. And I feel like this was such a bad idea. Terrible idea.
It felt like they're all just building up to Earth House losing.
Yeah.
However, I have to say that once again, except from just giving up, laying down and giving up, there wasn't really another option anyway, because every other outcome of the situation would have been, okay, you're going to be Shaddiq's bride now.
Yes.
Enjoy.
Again, it's the only option they had left. We do get something of a meeting between Shaddiq and Nika, and she says to him, "You are disgusting," and we learn that she's a go-in between aka she is a spy, right?
Yep.
Basically. How do you guys feel about this revelation?
Yeah, that's
I knew it was
I was
coming.
not happy with it. I was really devastated by it, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's clear she's not doing this willingly, and she utterly despises him as a person.
So I kind of felt this coming from the first episode, because why would Nika immediately help Soletta if she did not have some good reason to do that? You don't just help a
'Cause she was a
stranger
nice
like
person.
that.
I thought
Yeah,
you
man, it's an anime, man. Come
Nika's
on,
a
you know,
really
goodness,
nice person.
goodness conquers all. I don't know. I just,
But I think you guys know what I mean. It's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a question the motives, and then it starts feeling sus.
Yeah,
Is-
in hindsight, it seems obvious, but yeah, in the time, it's just like, oh, hey, look, here's an actual friendly face on this place to her. Awesome.
Yeah, no, I agree.
You just
I
want
agree.
that for her.
That's
By all
honestly
appearances,
that's what I
she
thought too.
wants to be a friendly face. She wants to be someone that people will go to.
Is Nika a Spacian or Earthian?
Earthian.
I think she's an Earthian, yeah.
She's actually an
She
Earthian.
gets bullied along with Choo Choo, and she's clearly used to it enough to just take it.
She's not secretly a Spacian? I can't remember. Okay, anyways. Yeah, so obviously Shaddiq has something over her. Otherwise, she probably wouldn't be doing this. What it is, we don't really know yet.
We still don't fully know.
We'll never find out, maybe, eventually. I don't know. Who knows? We see Soletta, running into our Chad man, Guel. And we learn Guel is still kind of chained by his father. You know, the rules won't allow him to
And
duel.
so do I.
And kind of like we see is like his disappointment.
He wants to help her.
It seems that way, yeah. And like it's
But,
kind of
if he goes against his father.
Yeah.
He's going to get booted out on his ass.
It's kind of sad too, because like Soletta, she's like, oh, like you're doing it for your dad. I understand. Like I love my parents. I love my mom. You know, like she's great. And then she's like, anyways, I gotta go. Bye. And I was like, poor guy. You know. And it's just, I feel like at that moment, it kind of clicks for him. Like my dad doesn't like. He's a dick. Like I don't think he. You know, I wish I kind of had that relationship that, you know, or I wish I could say that I love my dad, like Mayor, like how Soletta loves her mom. You know what I mean?
So
kind of,
for me,
yeah,
this might be a little personal. This kind of rings true for myself, because my dad, because of the choices I've made in my life, is kind of hard on me. He's always kind of been hard on me.
Yeah.
But I still, I still want to love my dad. But I definitely, whenever somebody's like, oh, I have these great parents that accept everything I do and, stand behind me 100%, it always like, why can't I have this?
I feel you. I kind of understand the same thing. Yeah.
That's very relatable, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Just to cut in real quick, I do have to head out. My coworker showed up, so I don't want to be rude to him. So I just want to thank you guys for having me again, and I promise next time I can stay the full episode.
Okay. Nice. All right. See you later, Icy.
Have fun, guys, and I will be listening in the chat.
Okay. See ya.
All right. See you guys.
So like the next scene again, we see Shaddiq at Miori's greenhouse, and honestly, I'm getting tired of it too. I'm getting tired of like Shaddiq always showing up at Miori's.
He's just a dick.
He's just being a dick. It's so annoying. It's actually just really annoying to the point where like you could have like condensed this into like one or two times. You didn't really.
How many times has he done this? Like we've seen, like
I think 4 or 5, maybe. Like I think it's like the 4th or 5th time, including the flashback. Like we get it. You know, we get it already.
He's a dick, and he comes to Miorine constantly to say, "Hey, you could just work with me."
Yeah. So basically, trying to do the whole thing where, look, you don't need to duel.
That guy here.
He's like, you don't need a duel. Just take the L. Just sign the papers. We'll work together, and everything is going to be hunky dory. Yada yada yada. And obviously, yeah. And Mior is like, bro, you got a GTFO, man. You got a GTFO. So he leaves, right?
And then he runs into Soletta.
Yes, he runs into Soletta, and they have some words, and she's basically like, look, if I'm her groom, I'll believe in my bride. Now with this comment, I remember on Twitter, on Facebook, Instagram, I saw a lot of people be like, oh, this confirms it, everyone. She's gone full Yuri. It's confirmed. What do you guys think? What do you think?
Yeah. This is a gay show.
Is it fully gay? Is it like this is how it's gonna go down, or is she just like I don't understand. I understand it's a groom and bride thing, and if this is the role I'm assigned to, then I'm gonna do it. Or is it like, look, I actually love Mjolnir and she loves me, and we're a couple.
Little column A, little column B.
Okay.
I think there's a period in this relationship that they have where it's very ambiguous what's going on, and I think this is supposed to be the first sign of like a couple. This is very common in medieval times.
Yeah.
If you get married to somebody you are not supposed to marry, like basically you don't pick your bride or your groom, but because it's the circumstance of the way the world works, most people eventually just go, okay, this is how it's going to be. I accept the circumstance. And I feel like here it's going to be very much the same thing, where they're like, okay, this is beneficial for everybody, including us. Kind of because, obviously
it's a
being
convenience.
with Soletta, it's not only convenient, but it also has actual,
benefits.
real benefits for both of them.
Yeah.
And they're basically going to, just fall in love with each other over the period of the show, or maybe not. We don't know. But basically, they're going to accept this situation and make the best of it. And basically, because of how everything is playing out, actually fall in love.
Right.
In like the purest sense, simply because they have to go through all this shit together.
Yeah.
But because of everybody else.
Fair enough. Good explanation. In the next kind of scene, we see Belmara on a plane talking to on a phone call with Mjolnir, and she's able to provide 4 Zoarts, but the Ferract is under maintenance, so unfortunately
we need Zord power.
Yeah.
I fucking love that mobile suit. Also,
yep.
I want to say one last thing about my last point.
Sure.
Soletta is the only person that does not treat Mjolnir like a tool.
Yeah, no, I just kind of tolerates her.
I feel like because she doesn't know how to or know any better.
Okay, but that's still a pure.
Yes, you're right.
Thing.
Yes, you're right.
And like Mirin knows it's not. Mirin can actually trust Soletta because she knows it's not a hoax. Soletta didn't fucking know how this what beating Ghoul would do.
Yeah. But that's funny that you mentioned that, Lucas, because I feel like it's the opposite where, and I think we'll get into this later, but where Mjolnir kind of treats Soletta as a tool.
Yes.
But that's for another time. Anyways, so the Earth House has now 4 Zoarts, no Ferract, and we actually see a little clip of Elan, the real one, the OG. And I actually forgot about him, to be honest with you. I'd forgotten about him. He basically, small appearance where he tells Belmera that, look, I got a message for you from the head honchos here. It's like, we expect results, because if we don't, you know what I'm saying, basically. Yeah. So after that, we finally see Shaddiq's mobile suit, the Mikhail. What do you guys think of it? What do you guys think of like the first appearance you see of it? Like, what are your?
I hate it.
You hate it?
Every weapon aside from the beam saber is on an incom that she's usually employing in close range combat, where someone could just take a sword and just sever that bitch.
Yeah. Do you like the design? So you actually, even like just based on appearance of it and the design, you don't like it?
The appearance is cool, but the longer you think about it, the worse it gets.
Okay.
So I'm going to agree there. I think it looks really cool, which is something I have a lot of contention with a lot of my friends. Because I even, when the RAL showed up a second time, if you guys understand what I mean.
Yeah.
I was immediately sold. Everybody else was like, nah, this looks like shit. And then two weeks later, everybody's like, no, wait, actually, yeah, no, this shit is cool.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Wing Oriole 0.
When I first saw Mikhail, I actually didn't like. I don't think it was that neat. I think it was kind of compared to like what we've seen, like to the Ferract and the Darabalde. I was like, it kind of looks almost like a grunt suit to me. You know,
I feel like the multiple mechanical designers do a really good job at differentiating the different companies.
Yes, I agree with that.
That
I just didn't like this. I didn't like this design.
It's especially, if I can interject on this real quick, it's something that I appreciate so much because as a BattleTech fan, the company behind BattleTech, they've released some 100 mechs. If you told me different companies produced those mechs, and I didn't know already because I'm a fan, I would say they look like they are all produced in the same factory because all the line work and all the appearances are the exact same.
Right.
And here it's like everybody has their kind of visual distinction. The pile suits have very long and slender limbs. The Grassley suits have those weird mono eye heads.
The Grassley suits, they look like they stepped out of 00.
Yeah. They look great.
Yeah. I agree.
Meanwhile, the fucking Jaturk mobile suits
look like a beefed up bomb.
Yeah, no, they look like Xeon by way of Iron-Blooded Orphans.
Yeah, that's actually a good way of looking at it. Yeah, I agree with you there. How do you guys feel about Shaddiq as a pilot?
He's boring.
He's absolutely terrible.
Yeah,
there's a reason he's relying on a team of 6 aces to carry his ass. This bitch is a low-tier Gundam battle operation player, or that just has a really good set of friends.
He's like me right after I started playing battle operations, and I didn't understand how the melee combos worked.
Right.
But instead of being like me, where it took me an hour, and suddenly I was bodying the entire enemy team with a Efrit Schneid. He's just like, I still don't know how this works, but I have 5 friends that are really good at this because they're good at shooting. So I don't need to know how it works.
Yeah.
He's also so overconfident.
Oh, for sure.
Fuck, you're a freak. Zamo for life.
He loses the fight because he does not, keep track of his surroundings.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Suella should have gone down hard.
Yeah. Mid fight, it's funny because it cuts to Guel. Or Ghoul, he gets a call from his poppy. You know what his poppy says?
I'm taking you out of school. So all that rule following, all that towing the line Ghoul was trying to do.
Yeah.
It's for nothing.
Let's see if we can do like the best kind of family business accent here. It's like, you gotta get out of the school and you gotta learn the family business from here. Get out of here. It's kind of like, yeah, you don't need school. You're going to be basically learning the family business. You don't need to be a pilot. Basically,
you're clearly
stripping Ghoul of what he is, right? And it's kind of sad. It's kind of sad. I don't know. You guys agree?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree too. So back to the fight, we see Ariel is basically 1v5ing at this point, and the antidote from
actually something we passed over because it's so inconsequential.
What do we pass over?
That Renee specifically prior to the fight called out one of the Earth House girls as like, you pilot, I want to fight you, and it's like, well, and even after watching the episode,
Lilique, yeah.
It's like, why was this here? Well, there was no point in this besides making Renee look like a total, look like a lunatic. But guess what? Her character design did that perfectly fine.
Well, basically, it was coming back to like, you like dissed my 12th inline boyfriend or something.
Are you part of a harem?
And I was like he's my 12th backup for a boyfriend, and you rejected him. So like, eat this, basically. And I was like, this is you don't need to add this kind of garbage in here. I was like, what the hell? So
I think it's utterly meaningless.
I think it's cute. and that's it. It has no
I
impact
don't know.
on the show.
It's just like whatever, dude.
Why did they call it? Like, this is what, when I said that there were things that could be cut from this episode.
That's one of them.
To make room for episode 8.
I didn't even want to bring it up. I didn't even want to bring it up, but
it's true.
I came here with it in my notes, ready to rant. I looked up her fucking name for this.
Yeah. So basically, Renee, being mad at the Lilique, the bigger girl, and I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, who cares? It's not gonna even matter at the end of this. But what does matter is the antidote is used on the Ariel, and we see her get bodied, basically. Shaddiq kind of like wrecks up the Ariel quite a bit. Do you guys feel like there's a pattern where Suletta actually isn't a very good pilot, but Ariel is kind of like the real workhouse? And I actually
have this.
Yep.
I actually have this in my notes. I think Suletta is a good pilot because she survives what has to be a solid 1 or 2 minutes while having a conversation with her mobile suit against 6 pilots who are all actively trying to take her down. And she's not even paying attention to the fight.
Funny how their aim goes from fucking amazing bodying the Earth House, those mobile suits in seconds, to Ghoul episode 1.
Yeah. I have an explanation for that. I have an explanation for that.
Grassley should have won because and don't say like, oh, it's just to like they're using the fire to like herd her in a direction for Shaddiq to kill, because like, no, they were hitting her.
My explanation is that they're not supposed, like, I feel like there was like a meeting beforehand, and it's such a Shaddiq thing to do where it's like, look, I'm the one who's going to kill or take down the Ariel. You guys do not like do the kill shot, you know. You're just there to distract or kind of like slowly burn down the Ariel while I do the finishing blow. That's what I feel like the discussion, the game plan was beforehand. And that's why I feel like it went to episode 1 where we're doing that again, you know?
Still really annoying to watch.
Yes, it is. But I feel like that's the explanation I would go with. So just as Ariel's
he forgets that his mobile suit has an incom and just tries to beat Suletta to death.
It's the manly thing to do, you know? It's a manly thing.
Gotta show off your chest hair.
Yeah, gotta show off the chest hair, which probably doesn't have any. But
Shaddiq waxes.
Yeah, I feel and I actually it's probably a bit later, but I'm gonna provide my explanation a bit why I think Suletta is just an average pilot, but I'll talk about it in a bit.
But a brilliant scientist.
When we get to the point where it's like, oh shit, Ariel's actually gonna lose, she does what we call the Char's counterattack, New Gundam style, where she produces like that glow, that blue energy field, similar to what we saw. If you guys have seen Char's counterattack, basically the New Gundam.
But counterpoint, it's the Zero system.
The Zero system? How so?
After it activates, she's actively responding to events that haven't happened yet.
No. This is my explanation of why she's so mid. It's because it's not her. It's not Suletta. It's Ariel that's doing the movements and predicting where everything is. And then Ariel's like talking to Suletta, like, hey, basically shoot over here. And she's kind of like, oh, over here. And like kind of like her dialogue. And it's like basically Ariel's doing 90% of the workload, and Suletta's doing like the 10% of aiming where to shoot and pulling the trigger, basically. This is why I really believe that Suletta's a mid pilot at best, Suletta's mid pilot at best, and Ariel's doing the rest. That's why I really believe that. And she's using like cheat codes, you know, and it's just predicting the movements of the MSs. And yeah, and we've kind of seen that with the Farak fight too, where she's in trouble and she's like, everyone, I need your help. And the Bits and Ariel come to life. So I really feel Suletta mid pilot at best and Ariel kind of doing the rest. in my opinion. But you guys disagree with me?
I'd say the fact that she survived Shaddiq's onslaught puts her at least above average.
Okay.
Yeah, I will agree. I think she's at least above average. I, of course, because I really like her, want to say she's probably a great pilot.
Okay.
But the Ariel definitely does a lot. Like even the probably like the below average pilot in proper sync with the Ariel could probably defeat some aces just because the Ariel itself is baller.
I imagine the Ariel would struggle more in a universe that has funnels. Well, that has just because there are
The enemies would be so
yeah. People would stand there with both their thumbs up their asses, wondering what the hell they're looking at.
Right.
Cube light, kill it.
And yeah, like that's true. I think in the universe where the pilots would be like, okay, this thing is funnels, so half my tactics, throw those out the fucking window. Use whatever we do against funnels instead. Where here, everybody's like, what's a funnel? What is happening? Oh shit, my mobile suit.
Scrambling to defend against gun bits, but also, side note, so something about the blue glow that didn't click until the rewatch, well, not even the rewatch, until this morning.
Okay.
And it's a bit of a spoiler, but like it'll be discussed next time. But there's an event in episode 12 where something very similar to what we just saw happens, though not quite on the same scale.
Right.
And we're given an actual explanation for what happened. And the two events aren't tied together, mind you, but I feel that there's supposed to be a connection.
I'm glad that they kind of explained that a little bit later on, because I was just like, what the hell? What the nani? You know? But
that's my biggest problem with this is like, they don't explain it, and normally this is the kind of stuff you can buy the model kit for, but guess what? The Ariel model kit doesn't explain it and actually just raises more questions. I'm looking at you, red eye stickers.
Yeah, no one's like, hey, what happened there? No one explains it, but what does end up happening is Ariel actually gets kind of like caught up and is kind of beat down, you know, even with the cheat codes.
There's very little you can do when your leg's been shot off.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you know, we're talking about you know, the greatest pilot to ever live here, you know, and the Ariel. So, but anyways, look.
That's a funny way of saying Graham Acre.
Look, I feel it was more of a skill a skill issue, and right when Ariel's and Soletta are about to lose, what happens?
Boom! Headshot!
Boom! Headshot!
Well, that is the only saving grace of this entire episode for me. Like, I do not care about fucking Shaddiq monologuing on and on about how Theorine chose wrong.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, basically. Also, I want to point out a very interesting observation.
Yes.
The head, the antenna that marks that you lost is not severed on Choo-Choo's demi trainer and two of Shaddiq's
yes, I noticed
side
that as well.
chicks.
Yeah.
But the duel is still over. So I'm like, is there a clause where it's only about Shaddiq and Soletta? And if it's there, why take out anybody else? Not just immediately focus Soletta, because they knew that everybody except Choo-Choo was basically filler for the fight. They weren't going to do much.
They probably assumed Choo-Choo was also filler.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's probably just practical, right? Get rid of as much grunts as you can, and then just focus on the leader. That's what I pretty much thought it was. And yeah, like those two grunts had their heads kind of bashed in, but the antennas were still up. So it was just like, yeah, you can still be used. But what do you guys think? Is this the best snipe in Gundam history, or have we seen something better?
God, no. We know the best snipe. It belongs to a man named Char, and it went through Casilia's head. You literally cannot top this.
Oh my god!
Lady Un threw a guy out of an airplane, shot him between the eyes, and it still doesn't top the rocket launcher headshot.
Oh my god! I just remember that now, the Lady Un one. Jesus. Okay.
I haven't even watched that yet.
But in terms of mobile suit wise, best headshot.
It's pretty good.
It's pretty close. It's pretty
It's a
good.
decent headshot, but like we've seen a lot better snipers that pull off a lot cooler shit.
True.
Like maybe and a Thunderbolt, that was pretty cool too. The mutual kill.
Thunderbolt.
Yeah. True. So basically the victory secured by the Earthians, and at the end of it we get the promo video. Well, actually, no, hold on. We get the dance. We get the dance, the victory dance. Basically, still pops out of the aerial, and we get the Gundam. It can fly. It can dance. Aerial.
Get fucking teabag.
Oh
Shaddiq.
my god.
Get fucked,
Basically,
Shaddiq.
the
That just
teabag.
got broadcast to the world.
Basically, teabagged and broadcasted. Yeah, so this is broadcasted everywhere. So I'm sure.
The world just saw you get your ass beat, kid.
So I'm sure some Earthians even saw that too. Since it was. But yeah, I don't know. I thought that the episode. I'm gonna give it a score. I'm gonna give the score a 5 out of 10. And the reason for that basically is because I'm tired of Shaddiq, and it was just him chasing after Mjolnir was exhausting. The only saving grace of this episode was kind of like I found for myself was the battle, and even then there was bullshittery going on with the whole blue glowing into the new Gundam kind of force field into Soletta using cheat codes, and Ariel basically fighting for her. Besides all that, the snipe was pretty good. I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. There's just a lot better out there.
I'm giving it a 6 out of 10. It felt more or less the same as episode, because the battle should have been the saving grace, but aside from the snipe at the end, no, it felt really contrived. And if the explanation for how Soletta managed to survive long enough to pull the turnaround is Shaddiq's an idiot, well, that sucks. We have 3 more episodes of him as the antagonist.
Yes. Yeah.
That doesn't intimidate me. That just makes me sigh.
It's kind of sad that he's like the final boss.
Going to fuck up. Yeah. Well, I'm not worried for them if he's going to fuck up this bad.
Yeah. And what was the whole thing was like at the end? It's like, oh, Shaddiq, you lost because in the end you only care about yourself. You fight for yourself.
He doesn't trust anyone else to be able to handle themselves compared to the savior.
Yeah, it's just whatever, dude. Anyways, Locust, what do you give this?
Didn't he leave?
Wait, did he leave?
Huh? I'm still here. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I was reading something.
Wait, you're Locust.
I will give this episode a 7. I still like the fight. I like how the whole blue thing, one is kind of set up in the fight with Ellen already because we see it there.
Yeah.
And how it only makes sense for the Ariel to have a way to combat the Antidote after Antidote killing Prospera's husband.
The Poppy.
And yeah, basically to me, that it just kind of comes out of nowhere without being explained, kind of meh, but then at the same time, the fact that it's there makes perfect sense, because if your enemy has this technology 20 years ago and they're resourceful, why would they ever give it up? So, right. And because they wouldn't know you still have a Gundam, why would they make something better, right? So you can just take whatever you learned from that fight, build an antidote, build anti-antidote, and you will probably be fine. So it makes perfect sense, but I will agree with the fact that the episode, considering the next 3 episodes, feels very samey. It feels, even though it's a fight and it's kind of cool, it still feels like this fight is a filler.
It feels like this fight is here just so Soletta can go 3 for 3.
Yeah,
but basically. I also feel like this is around the point she should have been handed a loss. Because one of the biggest complaints I saw early on was, oh, she's an invincible hero, and I disagree with that early on, but here, no.
Yeah, I'm telling you, she inputted the cheat codes, man. Up, down, left, right, A, B, and then
he's the second coming of Jesus Yamato.
Oh God,
I'm going to disagree with the idea that Soletta is an invincible hero, because just like Mikazuki, all of Soleda's losses are in the social department. In the episode we rated 10 out of 10, Soleda takes the biggest social loss you could ever take. She gets used as a tool and has no way
Yeah.
to defend herself. And just Mikazuki takes similar losses, even though he always has Orga to stand in for him.
Yeah.
But neither Mikazuki or Soleda really ever lose in a lose-lose sense. Of course, Mikazuki almost gets his shit wrecked the moment when they meet the turbans, and multiple times.
Do you remember how he died?
Well,
No, yeah, of course. In the end, he dies. But I mean, like, till that point where he kind of has to die for everything to work out,
but
he never gets 1v1.
I'm gonna argue the fact that Mikazuki was basically piloting. He didn't have the cheat codes. He just was able to use the Barbatos better. And I feel like in this, it's the opposite. I feel like it's the opposite. What?
He had 3 Alea Vinyanas.
Yeah, but he's still controlling it. He's just able to control. Like, it's all his thought process and movements. Like, he's the one doing it. He's just able to control the Barbados better through the Alea Vinyanas.
The Barbados seemed to be actively speaking to him during the Hashmal fight. The one actively urging him out to fight. Like, we didn't hear anything, but like the Barbados was reacting to the Hashmal.
Yeah, but he's still controlling it. It's not like Barbados is acting on its own. Where I feel like it's clear indication here. Soleda's like, Ariel's like, hey, shoot over here because this thing is going to be over there. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like Soleda, Ariel, it's like Ariel does most of the work. And that's why I feel like this episode kind of demonstrate how mid really Soleda is. I mean, if you guys want to put her as above average, fine. But I really feel that it kind of showed me more of a disappointment on her aspects of being a pilot. And I think if you put like anyone else in there that could use the system, it'd be better off. But I see here says who's texting us here, 6 out of 10, all 6 go into the battle itself. And Lilique being such a queen, she doesn't even realize her rejections alone can steal someone else's man. Again, going back to, I think, was it Renee being mad? So,
Psycho bitch Renee.
Yeah.
Soon to be upstaged by Sophie Pallone.
Oh, God. Okay, so we're coming back to the... what we're calling now is the cool wall. Not sure if I can. Let's see if I can adjust this a little better here. Let me see.
I have finished about 1/3 of the heavy arms.
Nice.
I have a Reiki Kai to assemble from Kyokai Senki, but I want to build it when my girlfriend builds her Master Grade Akai that I got her for her birthday.
Yeah.
Well, that was so funny. So she had said she's a huge water suit fan.
As his brother.
And she loves the GOG. She has a Master Grade GOG, and she would always joke about the fact that having a Master Grade Akai would be great, but they were sold out everywhere. So I was waiting for her birthday to put down a pre-order because everywhere in America was saying, "Oh, we'll have them on pre-order soon." And then eventually I was like, "Okay, I'm just gonna get them from Mecha Warehouse." While I was on Mecha Warehouse, I found they had the regular, the Lanza, and the Demi Trainer in stock. So I just bought them all 3, and I was like, "This is like the perfect lineup."
Happy days.
And the best thing is, she hasn't assembled anything but the Demi Trainer.
Oh.
And she's just been like, "Oh, I love the Demi Trainer so much." She's completely infatuated with it. I was like, money well spent. Let's go.
There you go. How do I add... Why is this not working, please?
Somebody tell me... By the way, I don't have the stream pulled up right now, so somebody will have to tell me what mobile suit it is.
Okay, hold on. We're gonna go back and do the... I don't know why it's
Also, I came back. My coworker gave me permission. I told him about the contention with the gym, and he gave me permission to come in for the grunt section.
Okay, hold on. Why? Hold on. We gotta bring this back up. Why did it do that? Weird. I have to open it with a paint. Okay, there's the cool wall. We have that up. Let's see if I can put the gym back on.
Listen, the gym's a solid design. Whatever the best category is, that's where the gym belongs. It is a solid, heroic grunt look.
Why is it doing that? We're having technical difficulties with this. Damn. It worked so easily last time.
Fuck, helicopter, sorry.
Uh-oh. He's on the run. Okay.
Yeah, I stepped outside, so I'm not rude to my coworker.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. All right. Well, we're gonna go with the gym here. So we have So our new system here is called the cool wall, and basically what we have is seriously not cool. We have the not cool category. We have the cool category, and we have Sub-Zero, which basically means this thing is amazing. Where is the gym going? And why? You gotta give me a reason why.
I'm gonna go with seriously not cool because it's beyond bland. Honestly, like the Granddaddy's bland, in my opinion. The gym is more bland than bland. It is like if you had plain flavored vanilla, in my opinion.
Okay.
Its variants are some of the coolest grunt designs I've ever seen. Don't get me wrong. I love its variants. The base gym.
We're just talking plain gym though, right? Yeah.
Plain gym, I cannot stand the look. It makes me actively not like old UC.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so my thoughts on the gym. Sub-Zero, because yes, it's generic, it's bland. And I also agree, the Granddaddy's bland. However, with the Granddaddy, it's supposed to be this amazing mobile suit that'll save the world. Well, it's the hero. It really shouldn't be this fucking bland.
Agreed.
The gym, on the other hand, it's a tank. It's a mass-produced military equipment. What it needs to be is a solid base to mount everything else on.
Okay.
And it does that.
Okay. Locust?
I wasn't finished.
Oh, sorry, you're not done? Sorry, keep going.
It's the perfect baseline to start making actual specialized variants off of, as demonstrated by the fact that, as I said, the variants fucking slap.
Right, but we're just talking about the run-of-the-mill gym.
Yes, and I feel like it is exactly what it's supposed to be.
Okay.
I'm going to agree. I think that on its own, right? If you took it out of context of everything that it is and it becomes, it's kind of mid, right? It's not incredibly good at everything. It still beats the Zaku in a combat sense, because the moment the gym is out, most of the Zaku pilots get shredded just because they throw so many gyms at the veteran Zaku pilots that they can't keep up, and then in space they just get mopped up because the Zaku variant that comes from Earth isn't made for space combat. But I also think that if you take it in context of everything that it is, right? Everything that it becomes, all the variants made from it, all the technology derived from it, it is very cool.
It's really disheartening, guys. You know, it's to hear your opinions.
It's okay to admit that your opinions are trash.
I've heard. Look, this is the reason why.
Are you redoing it because the community was mad?
No, yeah, I'm redoing it because the community was mad. Yeah, that's kind of what happened. I think that the GM is seriously not cool. It's bland. I believe, wasn't it originally designed to be like similar to the ball in the sense of like not military used. It was supposed to be like basically help build stuff, help like build the space stations.
It's the Gundam stripped down. It's not supposed to be. It is literally a mass-produced Gundam. Like, and the Gundam was military equipment. The gym would therefore have to be military equipment. It's just the Gundam, but scaled down. It has a weaker beam gun. It has one less beam saber.
Okay. I think the gym as alone is just not impressive enough to be in the Sub-Zero category. I think that it's more in between the not cool and the cool category, based on our votes here. And I think some people are saying I can see it's not cool, and I think what we're gonna do is, just to be, you know, somewhat appeasing, I'm gonna put it in between the cool and not cool, and maybe that might change. You know, there's a possibility. You know, things can change, but as of now, I'm gonna put it in between as the not cool and cool. Okay. Because there's gonna be, I do this based on the fact that there are GMs that are variants that are, in my opinion, are much more cool. And as the base design goes right now, for me, it's just not impressive. And I would put it as seriously not cool. That's my vote. But in this kind of game here that we have here, we're gonna take the seriously not votes, the cool not cool votes, and the Sub-Zero votes, and we're gonna put it right in the middle. Okay.
Okay.
The next mobile suit that we've done previously already was the Zaku. I believe the Zaku 1, and I'd like to hear your thoughts on that, Medic.
The Zaku 1.
Wait, Zaku. Actually, no. Sorry, we're doing the Zaku 2. My bad. Zaku 2.
Yeah, no, I was wondering, because like the Zaku 1 is, I have different opinions on it. Like,
yeah, the Zaku 2.
It's a solid design that screams evil, and like it introduced the iconic Mono Eye to the series.
Yes,
but it's a bit too wide for my tastes.
Okay.
So I'll put it in cool.
Okay. Locus?
I fucking love the Zaku.
Yeah, my man.
I fucking the Zaku it's probably not my favorite singular design, as in like it's like Barbatos definitely takes spot 1 for me.
Yeah.
But if there's a grunt suit, if you say, okay, what's your favorite grunt suit? Zaku. No, there's no question about it. It's the OG. It's the best. I have 5 Zakus. So no, this shit is straight fire.
Okay.
I have none.
If you have no Zakus?
Heretic.
Heretic. I see.
It's actually real hard, because I back, like, even as much as like 2 years ago, I had to put that again down there with the gym. Personally, I didn't used to care for it. Here's where it gets, so building the kits for them, because I tried some real grades for them and completely changed my mind. I started to grow and appreciate the newer high grades for the kit.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's still not the grades. The base Zaku 2, for what it is just on its own, is still kind of okay. So I'm probably going to put it in not cool, leaning to cool, just because like I don't think it's risen enough up for me yet. So I'm going to keep it like high end, not cool.
Okay.
You have to
like
build the master grade Zaku. It's only like
I haven't
40
built any
bucks.
master grades. I've only built high grades and real grades of it. So I think maybe a master grade could push me over for that. But that's, again, it's one of those kits. So the variants are some of my favorite some of my favorite designs.
Right.
The base itself is where I kind of start losing it.
Okay.
So while I'm at it, if I'm going to recommend the master grade Zaku, I will have one complaint with the kit. The mono eye mechanism is so fragile. If you pull on the head even just a little bit, it will disconnect. That's the only problem with the kit.
That sounds like a pretty big problem.
Okay.
It's fine as long as you push down on the head when you turn it, which isn't hard.
Isn't that bad? For me, I think the Zaku is Sub-Zero, and I'll tell you why. Because it was brought up, it actually kind of like screams like, you know, this is the villain-esque mobile suit side. You know what I mean? It's got a very unique design with the mono eye, and I love like the vents going to like its long face. It's got the shoulder shields, and it's got the spikes on the other shoulder. It looks menacing. Like when I look at a GM, like, you know, I'm gonna quote Quattro Bananch here. I came here to laugh at you. You know what I mean? Like when I look at the Zaku, that's just like, damn, that thing kind of looks intimidating. And I think really the Zaku design is just brilliant, absolute brilliant. And the fact that it doesn't have the generic beam saber, it comes with the tomahawk.
Fucking axe.
The axe, it's just which you can actually throw and do damage. While if you got the beam saber, you kind of screwed. You can't throw like, shit. Poof. You know what I mean? So it's just the versatility is just incredible. It's just you know, it's gotta be like one of the better esque grunt suits. You know, and with that. It's going to be between Cool and Sub-Zero. I think that's fair.
They deactivate all the same when out of the hands of the mobile suit.
True.
Well, the other thing too is the thing that I think has the Zaku over the edge too with that is it was literally designed to be editable. Like that was the whole thing about the Zaku was the part. It's because since the Xeon took inspiration from was it World War II German soldiers or something, where it was like they designed all their equipment to be kind of interchangeable so they could repair things on the fly. Yeah. It's the exact same mentality that went to the design of the Zaku. And I think that's one of the things that makes it, you know, that was part of what helped me sway it. Is just like, so you could literally basically the show itself could kit bash Zaku's.
Yes. And another thing too, if I can just add, is the reason why I'm actually going to put the into the Sub-Zero category is because you can use that Zaku head on pretty much anything and it'll make that mobile suit work. And we've seen that. Was it Double Zeta?
The Huzzah.
Yeah, the Zaku on the Zeta Gundam.
Yeah. So I think that's just Zeta. For me, that just kind of pushes it into the Sub-Zero category of being versatile, you know what I mean? Just taking the head and just slapping it on, you know?
Then you have to get points for the Jim from 8th MS team.
However, the design isn't always perfect. Like the Tierian from 00 utterly failed to rock the mono eye look.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also want to say that what I really like about the high grades is that at least all the ones I've built come with all the weapon options for the Zaku. You know, they always have the rocket launcher, the axe, they have the machine gun every time. And the other thing I really appreciate is that if you want to customize a Zaku, you can change its look so much just using a basic color palette.
Yeah.
Like you paint it black or you paint it white and it's already so different.
That's one of my favorite custom builds I did. I did exactly that. I painted it matte black and like a desert sand looking color. Completely changes the feel of the Zaku.
Yep.
Understandable. Like, also, speaking of kits that include everything, looking at you, P-bandai, and dropping it and locking the entire arsenal of the Leo behind a P-bandai multi-pack.
God
damn it!
Oh, they did that.
Why'd you guys
bring
that up, man?
Funny about that? I'm actually gonna heal your wounds. So my girlfriend loves the Space Leo, but it's basically inaccessible because it's $100. I bought a normal Leo. I know how to 3D model. It has a 3mm basic ass connector. I'm just going to 3D model the space backpack, and then you just have to paint it.
Nice.
Yeah, paint it purple. Boom.
I'm pretty sure it has all that. Well, all those kits just because like they were planning to use it for the next build series.
What do you mean?
And like within a year of them putting out the high grade Leo, they put out the Leo NPD. And the Leo NPD was used to demonstrate all the custom weapon sets they were.
Right.
Interesting.
But yeah, no, like I am so fucking pissed off that it did not come with a Dober gun.
Oh yeah. Well,
I'm also kind of pissed we still don't have a transforming Taurus.
Look,
I want an Aries. That's all.
We're coming to the point where we're gonna reveal the new mysterious MS, okay? And that MS is gonna be the GM1 sniper.
Ooh.
What are we thinking here?
I don't like it as much, but that's just because there's so many GM snipers. And this is the lowest of them. Like, there's no breakup in the colors. It looks like somebody just made it. Fuck it, let's make a Master Chief mecha.
It looks like just like a green army man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, like I like I understand the appeal of a sniper, but no, mobile suits need colors to break them up. This has nothing.
Okay. Where would you put it? Where would you put it on the board?
Not cool, and only because I still love the GM head design.
Okay. I see. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I don't think I can do a fair critique of the Sniper 1 because the Sniper 2 exists and I've seen it. You have to remove that from my brain in order to make me be able to give a fair critique, because it's like you went from like horsepower to an actual horse to a Mustang, in my opinion, as terms of design.
Yeah.
The Sniper 2 is probably, if not my favorite, top 3 favorite gym designs, 100%. And so, God, I don't want to rate it as low because I do. It's neat, and it had a cool moment in 8th MS team. So I gotta go with not cool, but like low end not cool, because it's just like you said, it's all one color. There's nothing interesting. It's like even Master Chief as a Gundam base, or not Gundam, as a mobile suit, and even like the original design Master Chief, not like an upgraded design Master Chief like the Jim Spartan.
You know what the worst part is? I've been customizing machines during my MS Saga streams. That color scheme can work on a gym, just not that gym.
Yeah.
What do you think, Locus?
So as a mecha designer, I love this design because it has those weird cables. You can tell that it's supposed to be like this is an early thing. We didn't know how to make a beam sniper rifle that didn't need a huge thingy that charges it up yet.
Wait,
however,
cables?
Well, at least I'm looking at a picture right now. It has like a pod for the cables, which I assume comes with the master grade, because you can also see that they're like, it needs to charge its weapon before it fires in 8th MS. However, I will give it is very bland. The sniper rifle it has looks absolutely horrendous.
Yes,
like that's a big rifle.
That's something I designed that's something I could have designed 2 years ago when I had no idea what I was doing.
I mean, design is like how a kid would draw a sniper rifle.
Yeah. So
but then again, it's basically just the GM in green, and I looked it up just on Google, and there's already people who just add a little bit of gray and like beige, and it looks so much better.
Yeah.
So this is definitely not cool.
Were you not cool? Okay, I'm gonna put it, guys. It's I feel like it's not really an upgrade from the GM. It's not an upgrade from the GM. It looks bland. The green, disgusting. The gun is absolutely looks pathetic. Really, a 5-year-old could have drawn it better probably. So for me, guys, from the not cool and seriously not cool vibes I'm getting, I'm gonna have to push this into seriously not cool. Just the way that it's designed, the way that it looks, and
especially because so I love the gym for being overlooking like mass-produced cannon fodder. My understanding of the sniper is it's a custom. It's a one-off machine.
Like this is
that
a specialized
in the one show.
I mean, I would assume that it would probably be it's obviously a specialized customization of the GM, and I think probably only maybe like a handful of them exist for special missions or whatever. So I think there's
probably less of them than there are Gundam ground types.
So I'd still think this is it's still a grunt to me. So this is where it's going. It's going seriously not cool for me. But
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that's a good spot.
but
I'm not going to defend the gym sniper. Like, again, also worth noting, MS Saga, they skip the gym sniper entirely. They just go straight to the sniper 2 when they give you the machine called gym sniper.
And you wonder why, right? There you have it. So,
Like,
guys,
rifle is in the game, but no one cares.
all right, guys. Well, that's it for the podcast. Again, we had a really good discussion on the P-bandai stuff. We had a really good discussion on it would be P-bandai and Base Limited and how much kind of we hate it and the issues going on with that and how to get them. And
Base Limited at least tends to stick
Still
to
excited for my high grade gym Spartan, you know?
we hate
Like,
it when we don't have them. We
Limited-
love it when we have them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
tends to stick to recolors of like, oh, this is the OVA we projected on the wall. Oh, here's the gray Phoenix from G Rico from that OVA.
Right. So, I mean, like, you know, we discussed a bit about that. We discussed, episode 7, 8, and 9, which where I kind of feel, the later 2 episodes were like kind of like really weak half of the season so far.
Easily some of the weakest episodes in the season.
Yeah. But
it's like the drop in a roller coaster. It goes, it's right before the drop in a roller coaster.
Yeah,
You got
absolutely.
the excitement building up to it with 7, and then you're at the top, and it's like, okay, well, I'm between the excitement when I first got on this thing, and now it's about to drop, and I'm about to have a lot of
The
fun.
funny thing is, we can pretty much put all of our complaints just on they keep trying to shill Shaddiq as a threat.
Yeah. That's the moral of those episodes, right? You know, so
Like,
I just
he
feel like
doesn't
it's
change,
just
he doesn't grow. He's just a douche.
we all kind of agreed that those were the weakest episodes, those 2, and we don't like Shaddiq and kind of feel he's useless, and not well developed. And then we talked about, obviously, we had the new cool wall, and we placed the GM. We placed the GM in like kind of in between cool and not cool, and we had the Zaku Sub-Zero, and we all agreed pretty much the GM Sniper 1 is pretty much totally not cool.
Trash.
So, guys,
Like, I hate to say this about a gym, but no, it's trash.
I was actually surprised, Medic, when you said it, but I'm glad you did.
Like,
glad
listen,
you did.
I love the gym because it looks mass produced, but you know what? Well, but you know what it has? Color differentiation. It doesn't have a visor the same color as the rest of the damn suit.
And honestly, a specialized unit shouldn't look mass produced, and that's what the Sniper 1 is.
Right.
If it's supposed to be, is it supposed to be camouflage? Because that all doesn't look like great camouflage either.
I don't know what they were thinking.
One solid color is absolutely going to stand out.
Yeah, but
might as well get digital camouflage.
Yeah. And that's kind of basically that's the podcast for today. So guys, I just want to thank IC, Locus, and Medic for coming by. Unfortunately, Dave Thunder he couldn't make it. So, but that's okay. I really thankful for you guys coming and talking about the episodes and discussing P-bandai and contributing to the Wall of Cool. So thank you.
Always a pleasure, Aya.
Super fun to be here.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah. All right, everyone. We'll be back next week with a different crew, and we'll see you then. Take care, everyone.
See you next week.